6 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you on a Tuesday afternoon. Johnny Hill producing as always. We're with you for the next 3 hours to get you through the afternoon. And a lot to get to today. Obviously, continued talk on the NCAA tournament with the Sweet 16 games set to tip off on Thursday, but also a lot of news coming out of the NFL as yesterday and today we've got rule changes that have come out for this upcoming season. So a lot to get to today. We'll also, with all the NFL news, it's a great, all this happening on a Tuesday. We'll talk to Bo Marchant later in the show, and he'll definitely be able to give us a lot more information on these rule changes, what he thinks of them, and all of that. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
Brian, I'm doing well, and there's really pretty newsy NFL day as we start the real downhill slide to the draft, and then after that it'll be a little bit of a quiet period for the NFL. Got the Pro Football Hall of Fame teams announced today. Right. We'll be looking forward to that on that first Thursday night of August, and that's a very early date. I want to say that's like August 4th. No, August 1st. August 1st.
Holy cow! Wow.
Yeah, that is really early. So we can kind of use that as our football countdown number, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you strap the pads on and get out there, you know.
But we got football in Memphis Sunday on the road. We got Memphis. Sure. We got Memphis Showboats home football coming up Saturday the 6th. So we look forward to that. NFL, they never cease to amaze me. They know they just can block out the sun.
Oh, absolutely.
And with a Monday Christmas last year, I thought, well, sure, naturally they're 2 years or year before last on Sunday.
Yep.
But we jumped 2 days ahead this year with the leap day, so that we avoid Tuesday and we go to Wednesday. And I thought, not even the NFL will be so brassy as to put games on Wednesday. Oh yeah, they will.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to have two, and Wednesday is a real odd day for them to play. Remember during COVID, it was on the fly. I can't remember the teams. For some reason, I don't think the Giants. Anyway, they had to play a game on Wednesday, and that was the first.
I do remember that.
And that was the first NFL game on a Wednesday, like since 1948 or 49.
Yep.
It just remarkable to be playing on that day.
Yeah, that was one of the teams couldn't go because of all the COVID, and so they were like, well, we got to get this game in, and so they played on Wednesday. You're absolutely right. But no, it's going to be very weird. Doubleheader on Christmas Day. But, I mean, it's going to be – that week's going to be a lot of NFL because, you're going to probably have games on that Saturday, Sunday, and then that Monday you'll have a game, I'm sure, Wednesday, and then, who knows about Thursday. I'm sure you will still have a game on Thursday.
Oh,
and then
they will.
Back to Sunday. So, I mean, you really could be talking about that week out of the 7 days, I guess 8 days. I mean, you're talking –
5 days, 5 games.
5 out of those days. I mean, that's incredible.
Everything but Christmas Eve, the 24th.
Yeah.
We know that's always the Hawaii Bowl.
Absolutely.
The Aloha Bowl. Is it Hawaii or Aloha Bowl? I don't even know.
Hawaii Bowl, yeah.
Yeah. And it stands alone.
That's right.
It saves us all dying for something, and even by that point, I've had enough Bing Crosby. But to play on Christmas Day, they'll have that game Thursday, and that was the NBA's day. That was the NBA's really kind of launch for a lot of more casual than us fans.
Yep.
That's the first day that a lot of people kind of peeked in at the NBA.
Sure.
And those numbers last year were overwhelming. They will be this year. I wonder the two games. Don't you think they'll go afternoon, 3-ish, night-ish, 7-ish?
Yeah, you got to imagine. I mean, I don't think there's any point of doing the noon game or some sometimes they'll go 11:30. If you're not going to do a triple header, there's no point in doing that. You would definitely want to have back-to-back games. Yeah. No space in between. So I think they would go mid-afternoon and then a night game.
So the NBA can really carve out. All right, it's usually 5 or 6 games that day.
Yeah.
So an 11 o'clock game, a 1:30 game, that would get big viewing numbers. I know a lot of people, in the same time zone that we live in, the Central Time Zone and East Coast. That's a lot of lunch and package and going to grandma's time a day.
Yeah.
I understand that, but NBA's already playing at those times, and maybe the NBA moved the more feature teams to those times. Lakers, Celtics, usually Warriors the last few years. The NBA champ, whoever that may be, that might be prime for Denver in that 1:30 time slot. What is that, 12:30 Denver time? Yes. Something like that. It could be something like that. And I hope one of these days, not only that we've played, but we host.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you. And, I think, the NBA, as much as, this kind of hurts for them, a couple years now in a row of this, but, I think they'll figure out a way to make it work. Like you said, that 11 o'clock game, if they do the mid-afternoon and then night game, they'll have that, maybe, do like a 1:30 game as well, and then you'll have a 9:30 game. By that point, the NFL game will be wrapping up, so they'll be able to make it work, I think. But no, NFL and Christmas Day, they saw the success there, and I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon.
Nothing stops them, and it's just so clearly number one in the United States. It's nobody even argues with it. And in COVID that year, I think that was the one and only time in NFL history that they had games every day of the week.
Wow.
Monday through Sunday.
I think you're right, yeah.
Because, just so much was on the fly that during those times trying to get it in. The 26th, which will be this year on a Thursday, that may be 2 or 3 different bowl games trying at that time.
Yeah.
Noon, 3, nighttime.
Yeah.
Might avoid nighttime against the NFL.
Might. But, then you're really, once you start trying to schedule bowl games around the NFL when we've kind of got this Wild West for the NFL now, it's you're kind of getting slim then. And
the TV, college football TV schedule and the bowl schedule won't come out to NFL releases their schedule in early May. Then they'll follow suit and we'll see the games. And it's going to be fun to watch times for them. Yeah. With some of those, the better games incorporated into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
And then next year, we'll have 14 teams and maybe even more bowls incorporated into it. It will make, for the Liberty Bowl, I think we've seen the end of New Year's Eve Liberty Bowls because that's going to be something around the playoffs always.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta think.
And you don't want they don't want near like the Thursday the 26th. It won't be Sunday the 29th. I don't know if this would be too bad though. If you had that afternoon, that 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock game that led into Monday Night Football countdown on Monday the 30th.
I don't hate that idea at all.
And I think all day the 31st and the 1st is out. Yeah. There's never been a Liberty Bowl game played on the December 24th, 25th, or 26th.
Wow.
Every date, 27th on through December, a couple times on the 2nd of January. And, in way back when it first started, it was usually kind of second weekend of December that was, 12th or 13th or 14th. Then it kind of kept getting moved back, and then for the lion's share of the 70s, it fell in as the 15th Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, I like that idea of kind of a mid-afternoon, early afternoon kickoff, kind of go right into Monday Night Football on ESPN. I really like that idea. That could really work.
Now, the bowl honchos, they don't decide. TV tells you, here's your kickoff time.
Yeah. No, and but if I'm...
And you dang well better like it.
Sure, and if I'm ESPN, I don't think I would mind that at all. You look at the ratings that the Liberty Bowl's gotten the last couple of years, they've been pretty good, and, I think football certainly sells, and when you can go from one bowl game in the afternoon and just keep everybody there, bring more people in, and right into that NFL game. I think that's a great idea.
Lot of news out there around the draft. There's a lot of yesterday. We didn't get to it. I have no problem with what Deion Sanders said about his son and his really good two-way player at Colorado. Now you got to pull it off, because I remember when Caleb Williams was talking, I'm going to dictate where I go, and not so much. What I would love to know, and we'll talk about this with Bo. I would love to know from Coach Prime, what are the places you don't want to go to? Because the Mannings made it clear we're not playing for San Diego and John Butler.
Sure.
The GM.
Yeah.
And they had the stroke to it, whether you liked it or not. And I mostly don't like it. Didn't like it when J.D. Drew manipulated the draft. Who else did it in baseball that I didn't like? But if you got the power, your power is not worth anything if you don't use it.
Hey, that's a true statement. That's a very true statement. And I mean, it looks like if Deion can find a way to use it, I'm sure he'll probably use it.
Sure.
And he's one thing you can say about Deion is he's very much to his word. When he says something, he certainly believes it and means it. And so I would not be surprised at all if that becomes more of a real idea.
Well, he is, and you've never had one teammate, baseball or football, say he wasn't a great teammate.
Yeah, not at
They
all.
all rave about it. And, so he knows the inner workings of the NFL at least as well as Manning Incorporated does.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
So-
a great NFL career.
I think we did the list.
We did.
I think he was my first or second defensive player on the greatest players ever.
Yeah. So I mean, he's got a hold for it. I mean, he knows what it's all about.
So if Archie and Peyton and Eli can do it, if they got the stroke, he can do it too.
Yeah. So I would not be surprised at all.
Now Shedeur better go out and have a big year.
Shedeur definitely has to have a big year.
And that's more than 4 wins.
You're absolutely right. I think.
But behind that offensive line, that was like 10 wins.
Yes. No. That offensive line was. Shedeur was literally running for his. And I understand dual threat quarterback. He likes to get out of the pocket, but he was running for his life on every single play. It felt like.
Brian, it might have been that Colorado State game. It was late at night, been a long day. I got in. I'm about half punchy, and I'm watching that game, and I literally thought, couldn't the offensive lineman at least be nice enough to turn around and yell, "Shedeur, run for your life! We're not blocking a soul."
Yeah, they're coming.
They're on the way.
Yeah,
Here they come.
It was that. I think it was that Colorado State game because I'm pretty sure
He didn't have a prayer.
No, and I remember that game. I was at a buddy's house. It was me and a bunch of guys over there, and one of our friends doesn't watch a ton of college football. Is more of an NFL guy and more of a friend of a friend. And he's sitting next to me, and he's like, "Man, does the offensive line ever try to block?" And I was like, yes, just not this team's offensive line. It's just different.
And at some point, everything's going to be RPO or just straight quarterback draw.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to. I mean, what else are you going to do? You can't sit back there. I mean, it was bad. And so he certainly made it a priority in the offseason.
And his dad, in his salesmanship, I'm not knocking this either, because you got to sell your program.
Sure.
But in his salesmanship, in his bravado, he's made Colorado a circle game for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of the person who Deion is, and you're right. I mean, I remember that going back to that Colorado State game, and I understand that is a rivalry game, and both teams have that circled before anything else, but. Woo! I mean, bulletin board material all over the place on both sides.
They just had it.
It was. I mean, it was crazy. But then, I mean, you go.
It was bulletin board and carpeting. They had it everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, from the floor to the ceiling, it was all over the place. But I mean, that's Colorado with every team. I mean, you have both College Game Day and Big Noon Kickoff come to. Your first 3 games for Big Noon Kickoff. Game Day was there at the same time for a
with
game.
record numbers.
Yes, I mean, that you are the center of college football, and that is going to bring a target on your back, and everyone's going to know when we go to Colorado, we want to beat Colorado, and so it's not going to be easy for them. But you're right. They hopefully under year 2, I think you're going to see those improvements from the stars we saw last year. But definitely got to get an offensive line in there to protect them.
I'll tell you now, the Liberty Bowl matchup I want is Colorado versus Arkansas.
Man. Well, here we go again with reminding me that all these conferences are going to be completely out of whack, and I'm going to have to go.
That's Big 12.
Brett, you were telling me yesterday that you were studying the baseball managers for this season because we've got new managers all over the place.
Man,
I'm going to have to sit down and study the conferences and let me remember this team is here now.
And I love to do it. I have had to really work and study baseball getting ready for this year.
It's crazy. And honestly, I think I forgot about just the amount of moves that were made by managers this past offseason. And yesterday we were talking and you were throwing some teams at me and I was like, I remember who their manager was last year, but I don't know if he's still there or not.
Then get to everybody's third pitcher.
Oh, geez.
And then the fifth pitcher. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, no. It's gonna take me some time to relearn all of these teams.
Cardinals everybody's on the injured reserve. What a great way to start the year.
I mean, and now Victor Scott going to be the starting center fielder, which I think he's going to be a fine player, but I don't know just yet. I mean,
I think his defense will be fine.
Yes, I do too. But that was the big news today, and hey, I mean, feels like deja vu. Last year felt like we were coming in and. Outfielders on the IL, pitchers on the IL to start the season.
But today and tomorrow is the last 2 days I can complain about baseball. Starting with opening day, I start my annual resolution to not complain about the sport. What did I make it to last year?
You made it pretty far last year. I don't remember the exact
June
date.
5th?
You did.
Yeah.
Johnny, this is news to you.
Yeah.
Brett, as much as he loves baseball, he cannot
complains about it more than anyone.
Complains about everything.
Out of love.
Out of love, absolutely out of love. Hates the commissioner,
okay.
but who doesn't?
I see a lot of hate for him.
And so last year, we tried really hard to get Brett to go as long as he could without complaining about anything.
Come on, Mr. Baseball guy, why do you complain so much?
And
that's what they said.
Last year was tough because the new bases, ghost runners.
It was a lot of new stuff last year.
How we do extra innings.
And, a lot of stuff going on. And I'll give Brett
it looks like church league softball.
Well, yes. Again, Brett, get all out.
Because didn't the bases get bigger too?
Did.
Oh yeah, big old pizza boxes.
Yeah. So,
he said pizza boxes.
We're gonna see how far Brett can get this year without complaining.
About June 5th
baseball.
last year.
June 5th. We'll write down June 5th as the date for last year. We'll see if you can get
that reminds me of a great story. Curtis Strange, who won back-to-back U.S. Opens, 2-time major winner, great player, and great Ryder Cup player. But the story goes that he just had the worst mouth on the golf course ever. I mean, could hit one 285 down the center of the fairway and cuss about it. So one year for his New Year's resolution, his wife said, seriously, we got little kids, people look up to you. Could you please? He said, I resolve, I'll quit cussing on the golf course. So somebody asked him how long he made it. He goes, I didn't make it but till like January 13th. They said, well, that's not bad. He goes, yeah, but that was the first time I'd played all year.
Oh, man. Well, I always say New Year's resolutions are made to be broken. So
that's right.
It's how it goes. But we'll see how far you can get this year. I've got high hopes. Year 2 of all these new rule changes. So I've got faith in you, Brett. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Pat Smith from Jocks down in Birmingham. He'll join us. We'll talk about Alabama. They're in the Sweet 16. They'll play later this week. We'll talk about Auburn's early exit. A lot to get to with Pat. Also, we'll check in on spring ball down at Alabama with the new
and the Nick Saban retirement stories.
Yeah, how about that? A lot to
going
get
to CVS and picking up his own prescription. Those people almost fainted when he walked in.
Wow. I mean, it's almost like he forgot who he is and just thinks he can go be, average Joe out there. So a lot to get to with Pat in our next segment. 3:45, we'll talk Grizzlies. They were in action last night against Denver. They'll return home tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Lakers. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville will join us, talk a lot of college football with him, but also talk a little college basketball as well with a couple of SEC teams in the Sweet 16. All 4 of the ACC teams that were in the first round, so not counting Virginia, that was kind of the embarrassment of the first 4. They're all in the Sweet 16, so a lot to get to with Brent at 4 o'clock. 4:30, We'll talk a lot more about the NCAA tournament, some college basketball news, as we're only a couple days away from Sweet 16 action. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Bo Marchant will join us, talk the NFL with all the news, rule changes, everything, draft right around the corner. We'll talk a ton of NFL with Bo. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and patio furniture now at Family Leisure. It's patio season. Come by Family Leisure and check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Pool season will be here before we know it. Buy now and get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Save $1,000 to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Also, special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and outdoor kitchens. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Produced by Johnny Hill, this is Sports Time. We're with you until 6, and as Bryant just said, as always, from our Family Leisure Studios, you can reach us at 901-360-8255. Text or call on the Sissy's Log Cabin text call, and all our guests will join us at that number on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. This hour of our show brought to you by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Call them at 901-334-9673. But better yet, stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town and visit with them at 2600 Ridgeway. That's where you can put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day, it's got to be all of the NFL news coming out with these rule changes. The hip drop tackle, they addressed that yesterday. It is now going to become a penalty. If it's not caught during the game, they can go back after the game and assess it. So definitely something to keep an eye on for these defensive players going into this season. The big one today, though, the NFL is moving to the XFL kickoff model. 29 of the 32 owners voted in favor of this change. The hope is that it will add excitement and safety to the game, with last year only 22% of kickoffs being returned. This was a quote on kind of how this will look for people that might not be used to the XFL kickoff model. This is from an article in The Athletic. The modification calls for all players on the kicking team to line up at the receiving team's 40-yard line, while the receiving team lines up 9 players on its own 35. 2 men will line up downfield as returners. The kicker will still kick the ball off from their own 35-yard line. The kickoff team defenders won't be permitted to move until the ball lands on the ground in the landing zone inside the receiving team's 20-yard line. If the ball lands short of the landing zone, the ball would be moved to the receiving team's 40-yard line just as if it sailed out of bounds. Touchbacks would call for the ball to be moved up to the 30-yard line. One of the big drawbacks that I've heard a lot of people talk about, in this a couple articles I was reading earlier today addressed with onside kicks. Now the surprise of onside kicks will be completely eliminated because teams will have to go and acknowledge, tell the officials, we are going to do an onside kick, and then they would line up for a regular kickoff. Obviously, both teams would then know that an onside kick is coming. So it's going to be interesting. I know since this was announced, college football has said that they are going to keep an eye on this. They're going to be studying it, and we can maybe see that move made in college football as well. But Brett, you also mentioned earlier that we've got Christmas Day game for the NFL, a doubleheader now, and it's interesting. A Wednesday game, but this means, I just saw this tweet, nearly every day from December 20th to New Year's Day will either feature a college football playoff game, an NFL game, or both. December 20th, we'll get a college football playoff game. December 21st, 3 college football playoff games and an NFL game. 22nd, an NFL game. 23rd, NFL. 25th, Christmas doubleheader. 26, Thursday Night Football.
More.
28,
More.
NFL. 29,
More.
NFL. Thursday, or the 30th, Monday Night Football. 31st, one college football quarterfinal game. And then January 1st, 3 college football playoff quarterfinals. So it's going to be very busy for postseason college football. That's not even including bowl games and stuff like that before the 20th. So it's going to be December. It just gets busier for football.
Makes it official. I will either be eating or watching football or both for about 11 straight days.
Pretty much every day in December, either eating or watching college football or the NFL, I guess, just football in general.
My top story, this is Rick Barnes' moment. All the wins, all the stops, all the NCAA tournament heartbreak. He must beat Creighton. I'm not saying win it all. I'm not saying get to the Final Four after maybe a Purdue game. Just you got to beat Creighton. This is the one. Tennessee's been to one Elite Eight ever. He can match that. It was easy for Tennessee in the first round. Then it was really wobbly and nervy in that win over Rodney Terry in Texas. There weren't a lot of other teams Tennessee would have beat that day that they beat Texas. Now in the tournament they face Doug McDermott and Creighton. They're playing pressure free, I think, but it's must win for Tennessee to quieten the Rick Barnes critics.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, this is just me being selfish, using this to get out my frustration. But Dylan Carlson to be placed on the IL to start the season. I mean, I said it earlier, it feels like deja vu. It feels like Groundhog Day for Cardinals fans. Seems like this is how the season started last year with a bunch of guys on the IL, and it seemingly never got much better. And Dylan Carlson, as much as, I'm sure great guy, he's a fine player when he's playing, but it's almost been promised of, this guy's the future. He's going to be the premier outfielder, and it seems
wouldn't deal for Soto over him.
Exactly. And really, unfortunately, seems like Dylan Carlson.
I'm sorry I raised my voice.
It's okay. Hey, you got a couple days before we can't do that anymore when baseball season starts. But Dylan Carlson has battled a ton of injuries over these last couple of years. It really feels like most of the Cardinal outfielders have battled injuries over the last couple of seasons. But now Victor Scott, the second, will start in center field opening day for the Cardinals, a 2022 fifth-round selection who has become one of the top prospects in the organization.
Counted on.
Over the past couple seasons, and will be counted on. I mean, in this spring training, he's looked good. He's batted .333 and has stolen 4 bases. He's got a lot of speed defensively. A really good player, I think, defensively. So I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he'll be fine in center field.
It'll just be June before we see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while until we see. I think till we see
June, July,
the
August.
Regular off.
Be buried in the
outfield
standings
guys.
by
That's
then.
right. Yeah, that feels like how it's gonna go.
I don't have a prayer on my resolution, do I?
No, you don't.
I'm going to break Curtis Strange's record. Make us, too.
Well, we don't want that.
my not top story, Bama, 4.5-point underdog to North Carolina at Crypto.com on Thursday night in Los Angeles. For Bama to pull the upset, and I think it would be their biggest win in program history. They've only been to one Elite Eight ever, and that would get them to their second Elite Eight. They got a bomb from threes. We know that. The over and under is 175. For Bama to win, the game's got to go over. They're not winning 60-59.
No, they are definitely not. Well, I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break, and when we come back, we're heading down to Birmingham, talk to Pat Smith from Jocks.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Okay, so there are some rules about what someone can and cannot say on a commercial. For one thing, you have to tell the truth, something not everyone necessarily follows to the letter. And there are a couple of phrases we're absolutely not supposed to say. For example, this is March, and this is an ad for Bell Tavern, Memphis's perfect bar. As you know, while Bell Tavern isn't a sports bar, there are always sports playing on the TVs. And in March, there is one particular basketball event that Memphians really love. But I can't say the name of it. I can say Madness, and I can say March, but I can't say, well, you get the idea. Anyway, if you want to enjoy the third month of the year craziness, Bell Tavern's the place.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey Mid-South, it's springtime, so let's celebrate with the Gossett Mitsubishi Motor Spring Sales Event. Time to go spring breaking with 43 MPG Highway. Do it right with 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. We Gossett for only $19,110 or $259 a month. Go your own way in style with 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. We Gossett $30,150 or $449 a month. Or hit the road in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE $36,165 or $399.99 a month. Plus, every Gossett Mitsubishi comes with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
Lodge RH 6614 MSRP 1916 Eclipse RZO 32749 MSRP 30650 Outlander RZO 12807 MSRP 36165 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Be Honest Bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Already mopping up a couple of earlier accidents out here. One was 240 East near Poplar. Traffic's on the increase already. 240 East from Mill Branch all the way out to 385. A little bit crowded. Certain sections of Sam Cooper going outbound, especially there up by Perkins, headed back towards the interstate. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and joining us now from Jocks down in Birmingham, Pat Smith joins us now on the Sissy's Log Cabin phone line. Pat, thanks so much for joining us. A lot to get to, but I do want to start off with Alabama's basketball team in the Sweet 16. They'll take on North Carolina Thursday night in that Sweet 16 matchup. What have you made of this run this season for Alabama, now getting all the way to the Sweet 16?
Well, you know, up until about the first, I'd say the first month or so of SEC play, I think everybody was pretty excited, thinking that this could be a team that could only make the second appearance all time of getting to the Elite Eight. But the last month of the season, they kind of had some shooting woes. They weren't shooting the ball very good from the outside. A couple of nicks and bruises put some guys on the bench. Their bench got exposed a little bit. So they kind of limped in the SEC postseason play, but the committee did them a really big favor, putting them in the bracket that they put them in, the two opponents that they had to get to the Sweet 16. I'm not trying to discount what they've done so far in the tournament, but obviously playing North Carolina on Thursday night will kind of be the proof in the pudding on this basketball team. But still a lot of excitement because based on what happened to Auburn on Friday against Yale, an unscholarshiped basketball team, that has a lot of people kind of scratching their heads, but Alabama fans are pretty happy to keep playing.
Pat, good afternoon. Is this is us having you on, is it violating some college football code of our own ethics? Are we allowed to talk college basketball with you? Is that okay?
Only 7% of the interview must be college basketball. The rest
gotcha.
must be Alabama football. Yes,
I got you.
Okay,
like odd even gas rationing in the 70s in California, right?
Yes, absolutely.
We'll try to stick to that. It is a good story for Alabama. I'm going to give you a blind resume, and you tell me which school is which.
Okay.
11 Sweet 16s, 1 Elite 8, no Final Fours, no national runner-up, no championships. 10 Sweet 16s, 1 Elite 8, no Final Fours, no runner-ups, no national championships. Who's the one with 11? Who's the one with 10?
The one with 11 is Alabama. Am I correct?
And you are correct, and the one with 10 is Tennessee.
Wow.
Is Tennessee, yeah. That's crazy. The Alabama one, that is, even back when Whip Sanderson had that thing rolling in Tuscaloosa, they never could get over the hump. I mean, of all people, it wasn't CM Newton that got them to the Elite Eight. It wasn't Whip Sanderson that got them to the Elite Eight.
It
wasn't Nate Oates to get them to the Elite Eight. It was Mark Godfrey.
It was Mark Godfrey. Wasn't even David Hobbs. That's right.
Yeah. It was him that got him there. But, yeah, I mean, when you look at this is the first time in consecutive seasons since 1990 and 91, Brett, that Alabama has made the Sweet 16. But, they just do not have a very good record. They are 1-9 all time in Sweet 16 games. So, Alabama, they're going to have the work cut out for them. Listen, I mean, North Carolina is one of the best teams in the country, and that's apparent by watching them and obviously the respect they got from his seeding. Alabama's going to have their hands full. And if Alabama doesn't shoot 35% from outside the three-point arc, it is going to be a long night in Los Angeles.
One of the biggest misnomers out there is that Bama has kind of dismissed basketball. Okay, they got an older building. I understand that. But I wish people would understand.
Hey, Brett, you better tell the board. Don't tell the Board of Trustees that based on the contract they just gave NATO.
That's right. Now, they got an older building, but people ought to realize what that replaced. I mean, that's the Taj Mahal. Right, that's the Taj Mahal compared to that. And you just went through that roster of coaches. Coach Newton, Coach Sanderson, David Hobbs was great assistant. Mark Godfrey played there, had won at Murray State. They tried Avery Johnson. They tried Anthony Grant. They've hit on Nate Oates, haven't they?
No, they most certainly have because, this day and age, it's just like football to a certain degree. It's all about excitement. It's all about trying to get these kids excited about coming to the program. And, it's interesting because talking about Nate Oates' contract extension, when you look at it, a lot of people said, why wouldn't Nate Oates kind of hold Alabama hostage and say, look, I'm not going to sign an extension. I'm going to float the idea of going back to Michigan and taking over the Wolverine basketball program if you guys don't give me what I want, which is a new basketball arena. They were supposed to put shovels in the ground a couple of years ago. It was approved, but because kind of the financial malaise that our country has been in and inflation being what it is, it just wasn't fiscally responsible for Alabama to move forward with a new basketball arena at this time. But Nate Oates had a good attitude. Nate Oates said, you know what? It's very important that we have the practice facility and that we have a new arena down the road. But he also understands in this day and age of college basketball, how long are these kids actually going to be on campus to be in that arena?
Yeah.
I mean, those kids don't care about the flashy new jumbotrons or the premium seating or the mezzanine level with lodge boxes and all that kind of stuff. All they care about, Brett, is how much money they're going to get with their NIL every month.
Right.
And if it's going to take away from what that stipend could potentially be, they'll play in Coleman Coliseum until the cows come home. That's not a very high priority when you look at the current state of college athletics.
Yeah. Well, Pat, we know one thing about this Alabama team. They have struggled defensively for a large portion of this season.
That's an understatement.
Well, trying to be nice here, Pat. But how do they go about slowing down this North Carolina team? Kim Palm, they're a top 10 offense. We know R.J. Davis and what he can do shooting the ball. How does Alabama slow down this North Carolina offense on Thursday?
Food poisoning.
That's it.
I mean, honestly, the recipe for Alabama's success, and I don't want to be all negative here, but it has been optional on their defense.
Yep.
But they're going to have to. We had Richard Hendricks on the show today. Brett, you would know who Richard is. Richard,
and he was great this year. He did a lot of games with Richard Cross. Richard loved working with him.
Yes, Richard was an outstanding player at the University of Alabama. Works for the SEC Network. He is just so bright and breaks it down for us. And he told us today on the show that Alabama, it's imperative that based on who you're going to face down low with Harrison Ingram and Baycott, what you're going to have to deal with, Alabama is going to have to shoot the ball at least 35% or better from behind the three-point arc. You know, they did that against the College of Charleston. They didn't do that against Grand Canyon. You saw what kind of battle that was against the Antelopes. Alabama is playing one of the best teams in college basketball this year. They're going to have to be on their game. They're going to have to be able to run the ball. They're going to have to be able to, like a football game, they're going to have to just get out and do what Alabama does, which is, again, they're one of the top offenses efficiently, according to Ken Palm. They're fourth in the nation, but North Carolina's not too shabby. They're 17th in that category. Tempo, Bama is one of the top in the country. But it's that defense that we keep going back, because defensive efficiency, UNC's sixth in the country according to Ken Palm. Alabama's 102. All year long, they just could not defend very well, gave up a lot of points. And if Bama can't get that three ball to go down, I'm afraid it could be a long night in Los Angeles on Thursday. And most of us hope that it's a good game and Alabama's got a shot there at the end. It's also one of note because one of Alabama's top players that went out early against Grand Canyon, Latrell Wrightsell, he is now questionable for Thursday night. He leads the team in shooting three-pointers at 44%. He was out a couple games before the SEC tournament due to a concussion, and he fell back, hit his head again in the game against Grand Canyon. He went out with about 7 minutes to go in the first half, did not return. And last night, Nate Oates told our good friend Ryan Fowler, Brett, down in Tuscaloosa, that it is now doubtful that Latrell Wrightsell is available for Thursday night. And that's big because all of a sudden, one of your top dudes off the bench who shoots better than anybody from the outside, now you're going to have to rely on somebody else, and that kind of messes up that whole rotation.
Pat, this is a little nitpicky here. Are you more concerned with the percentage made threes or the number? Just give me 15 makes against North Carolina. I don't care what the percentage is, but we got to have makes.
No, you're right. No, 15 is the magic number. You know, it's crazy because the other night when against College of Charleston, when they hit over 10 three-pointers in a game, it was the first time since the Ole Miss game during the regular season that Alabama had eclipsed 10 made three-pointers in a game. That's typically what they do. When they hit 10 the number is 8. If they hit 8 or fewer three-pointers in a game, Alabama is 4-6 on the season. The number is astronomical the other way when they hit in double figures from the three-point arc. So you're right, Brett. It's not so much the percentage. If you can make 15, you're going to be in really good chance to win that game towards the end.
Hang on for dear life. I think I got a really snazzy name for the potential new arena whenever it gets built in Tuscaloosa. You want it?
Is it the Pachyderm Palace?
Nope. It's the Nick Saban Coliseum.
There you go. You know, Nick loves basketball.
He does, and the famous assistant coaching games, and Lane Kiffin said the smartest thing he ever did, immediately he knew, he goes, I'm not getting involved in that because I know who's got to win, and I'm not made to be that uncompetitive.
By the way, and you also knew who was going to be the referee calling all the fouls, and you never fouled the goat. So
never. No. I think every building built in Tuscaloosa County for the next 100 years should be named after Nick Saban.
Well, there's no doubt about it. I mean, if you read Chris Lowe's article that came out this morning about Nick and him going to pick up a prescription for the first time in his life, and enjoying his retirement. It's pretty crazy, the fact that, we're now 3 months into it now, and we're getting stories about him going to the pharmacist to pick up some high blood pressure pills.
Walking in the bank. And and he did banking ads forever and had never been in one.
Oh, I know. It's amazing to be able to watch this transformation. Of course, once game day starts, he's going to be in that routine of every week being on set on a different campus or whatever the case may be. But just watching his potential involvement, because all indications are, guys, from the kids and the players that I talked to during spring practice right now in Tuscaloosa, not that they are happy that Nick Saban is gone, but it is a completely different vibe and attitude in Tuscaloosa.
Everything
that doesn't
changes.
mean that they're going to win. They're going to win the national championship. But I'm just telling you right now, the kids that have stayed, the kids that have come on board in that signing class, music is being played at practice. Media is getting an opportunity to watch practice. Right. You've got assistant coaches doing interviews on the radio. It's unbelievable what is going on down there. It's just a completely turnabout of fair play in regards to what's going on with this coaching staff and what we as members of the media and fans are being able to get access to now.
Pat, I'm serious when I say this, and we're real close on time. Bryant's giving me the signal. You remember when Lee Corso, back in the kind of the heyday of Corso, when he come to media days, Herschel Nissenson was his right-hand man, the old AP guy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pat, your family may not appreciate me volunteering you gone this long. I swear, between your connection with the Paul Feinbaum Show and your friendship with Paul, you ought to sign up to be Nick Saban's chief lieutenant on the road on game day and helping him prepare. He would be way ahead having somebody like you that knows this league and this sport. I know he knows it, but you know it from a media vantage point. That's my editorial.
Well, listen, I appreciate that. I'm very humbled that you would put me in that potential spot. But now that would be a lot of fun to be able to walk the concourses with the greatest of all
just
time.
To hang with him.
To talk SEC football. It would be unbelievable.
It would be.
That would be
Great
good.
job, Pat.
Good time. Pat, as always, thanks so much, and we'll do it again soon.
Hey, thanks, fellas. Hey, one other thing quickly. I've been pushing for Shohei Ohtani, Brett, to get suspended for the first 4 games of the season. So
I'm all for it. And the return trip to St. Louis.
Yes, if at all possible, if that could be handled by the commissioner's office, I'd greatly appreciate it.
You got it.
I'm with it. Thanks, Pat.
See you guys.
Pat Smith from Jocks. He joins us to talk all things Bama and right now. A lot of everything going on in Alabama with the basketball team success. Spring football going up, and Nick Saban trying to figure out how to live a normal life after football. But let's go ahead and get to a break. The Grizzlies, they were in action last night in Denver against the Nuggets. When we come back, we'll talk about what happened last night in their game tomorrow night against the Lakers. That's next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Are you aware? It's patio season. Family Leisure sure is. That's why they have factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and even, yes, patio furniture. Yes, sir, it's indeed patio season. So come by Family Leisure and check out all the brand new 2024 patio furniture sets. And with patio season here, you know that pool season will be here before you even know it. So buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get preseason all-in pricing. Plus, you could save $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even up to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Family Leisure has got special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and even outdoor kitchens. I love it when it's patio season because of all the fantastic deals that Family Leisure makes available just for you. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
The thrill and excitement of the tournament is here, and DraftKings Sportsbook giving new customers a shot to turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets with any college basketball bet. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The code is HERD, H-E-R-D. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook, and only with the code HERD, H-E-R-D. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/bball for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkheimer for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. What a great time to buy a new or used car or truck and save money at Sunrise. The largest selection in over a year, over 500 new Buicks and GMCs to choose from, an $8 million used car inventory. See them all at sunrisememphis.com. Factory rebates up to $6,000 and Sunrise discounts high as $10,000. Immediate financing available with loans low as 0% on select models. Cars and trucks under $10,000. When it comes to selection and savings, it doesn't get any better than this, partner. Come on in and save some money at Sunrise. Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit, hims.com/joy.
It's time to discover your new Kia at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And there's never been a better time to drive off in your new Kia. Make it happen today in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG, $219 a month. How about sporty 2024 Kia Sportage LX? We gossip $289 a month. Both $34.99 to its signing. And get rugged in 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $429 a month. $39.99 to its signing, all 36-month lease. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, $39.85, MSRP $22,320. Sportage R7, $24,7640, MSRP $29,635. Telluride RG, $49,9963, MSRP $41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, the Grizzlies were in Denver last night to take on the defending champs. It was a lopsided loss, 128-103. I don't think many people expected much different. But, there were some bright spots last night. A good third quarter for the Grizzlies out of halftime. That's been an issue at times this season. They go out, score 32 points in that quarter. You had a handful of players, I think 4 of the the starting five finished in double figures. You had Lamar Stevens, who's been fun to watch, when healthy, getting 19 points off the bench. So there were some bright spots, but, again, when you're going up against the defending champs, the team that is, still leading the Western Conference standings, and you're as beat up as the Grizzlies are, I don't think you expect much different of what we saw last night.
No, they were big underdogs, and it was for a reason, and no surprise there. I'm watching the game last night. I thought a couple things. First of all, our announce crew to be bringing it like they're bringing it. If you listened to that last night, you would not know it was this kind of year.
No.
That's the measure of a crew.
It sure
is. To keep it interesting, to stay engaged, and that's all of those guys, reason to be. They're going to go strong through that tape, through 82 games. It was just great. Brevin Knight made the point last night. Full-on Grizzlies killer through the years has been Reggie Jackson.
It has.
Whatever team, wherever he is, just quietly throws together a 15, 8, and a couple of a rebound. And that pickup last year by them, that has helped that team. Sure. You never know where that addition is going to come from. Yeah. You know night in, night out what you're getting out of Jokic and even Caldwell Pope and others, but to get certified Grizzlies killer Reggie Jackson to do that to you.
Yeah, and I love Reggie Jackson. He had a big game last night, but you're right, a huge pickup for Denver last year and has certainly helped them. But yeah, you don't expect much. Jokic goes out there and an easy 29 and 11 on kind of just an easy night at the offense.
It was ho-hum for him.
It really was. He just whatever he wanted. Didn't even really look like he was out there breaking a sweat. But the Grizzlies, they'll be back in action tomorrow night against the Lakers, 7 o'clock. We could see the return of Brandon Clark in that game.
It feels like we're going to get LeBron since he's taking they're punting on tonight's game in Milwaukee. They can't not let that game not go to the left-hand column tomorrow night.
No.
I think we get him.
I think we do too.
I hope so for the people that want to see him.
I do. I hope we get him, and that's always fun when LeBron is playing here at the Forum. So I hope we get him. I think we'll get him. I hope we see Brandon Clark tomorrow. If he's going to return with only a handful of games left, I think, get him in there, get some games. I don't know if you let him go through the entire end of the regular season or if you get a couple games in and then maybe the last 3 or 4 games you shut him down. But it would be nice to see him out there after really, a long off season and missing most of this season. It'd be fun to see him out there for the Grizzlies this year. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour, get to a break. When we come back, we're talking college football and a little bit of college basketball with Brent Beard.
I am such a failure.
You're going to have to narrow that one down a bit.
As the spokesperson for Central Barbecue, I have failed to tell everyone about the new location in South Haven.
Technically, I'm the spokesperson for Central Barbecue.
Well, I haven't told anyone, but there's a new location in South Haven that's super convenient for the people living there. And I haven't told them that location is where all the Central Barbecue catering for North Mississippi comes from.
If we could get back to the Central Barbecue spokesperson thing, see, you have to do this because you work here.
Now I have no clue how I'm going to face the people of South Haven. I have besmirched the name Central Barbecue spokesperson.
Besmirched?
We're here with David Cooper, Vice President of Genesis Diamonds. David, we're familiar with iconic brands. Are there designers for engagement rings?
Absolutely. Like every other industry, there are 10 renowned bridal designers who have been leading the industry for years. They are trusted, respected, and exclusive. Every jewelry store wishes to have them.
So what makes these designer engagement rings so desirable?
These designers drive a surge of customers to the store, making it the place to be. They attract shoppers who value quality, sophistication, and the ability to express their individuality through their engagement ring.
Can customers find these engagement rings in other stores?
Absolutely not. Other stores would love to have them, but they didn't make the cut. They have to settle for what they can get, not what they wish to have.
So Genesis has cornered the market.
Certainly. We offer a world-class exclusive selection from $1,900 complete rings to $250,000 celebrity rings. Best bridal designers in the world create these one-of-a-kind rings specifically to showcase your individuality like no other ring.
Genesis Diamonds, Poplar at Perkins Extended.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, 39.85, MSRP 22,320. Sportage R7, 76.40, MSRP 29,635. Telluride RG 49.9963, MSRP 41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Hey, it's my man Jeff Allen bringing sweet deals from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey, Randy, I've got a 2024 Kia Forte LXS that gets 41 mpg highway, and you can hit the road for just $219 a month.
That's awesome. What else you got?
2024 Kia Sportage LX, $289 a month. Both 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing. Or go big in a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $429 a month. 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing.
Plus, get peace of mind with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
We're online 24/7, KiaMountMoriah.com.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their valuable tools, but to protect their professional reputations. For pros, the WeatherGuard badge makes a statement about what drives them. It says, "Bring it on. Been there. Done that. We've got your back," without saying a word. And the folks at WeatherGuard, they're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. See what it means to be driven at weatherguard.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Clearing up a couple of earlier wrecks. We had 240 East up near Poplar. It's already a little bit busy up through there, as it is, especially on 240 East coming past Spillmore Parkway. It's starting to get a little bit busier in the last few minutes on 55 southbound down through South Haven as you continue all the way down into DeSoto County. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in the Memphis area. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brett.
Brent Beard joins us now on the Sissy's Log Cabin phone line. Talk some college football, a little bit of college basketball as well. Brent, thanks so much for joining us. And I want to start off, earlier today, we heard the news from the NFL. They're going to go with a new kickoff model where instead of the traditional way we've seen it, the two teams will line up. The kicking team will line up at the 40-yard line. The return team will line up at the 35. And then once the return man catches the ball, then those guys can go and try to make a tackle. It sounds like now, I think Kirby Smart talked earlier about it. It sounds like college football will be keeping an eye on this rule change and could talk about adopting it for college football. What do you make of that idea of changing the way kickoffs are done in college football?
Well, they either need to do something with it to make it worthwhile to see, or just do away with it and have everybody start 1st and 10 at the 25. I think that's kind of where they're at. They certainly, the NFL stuff very well may trickle down. Now, my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but if you kick it in the end zone on purpose, whichever one has a strong leg in that league, the ball would come out to the 40. Now, that is a major penalty on the kicking team, which will turn to defense, because if you're on your own 40, the way these guys can kick, like Brett Norworthy in high school days.
Not quite.
The way these guys can kick, I mean, all you got to do, guys, is get 20 yards.
Not even that for Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
You're first down. Tell him to start getting loose.
And get absolutely, and kick a 57 or 60-yard field goal.
You don't have to get ready if you stay ready. I mean, he's going to have to.
Right.
I mean, even Butker with Kansas City. I mean, he's automatic from about one first down, and they're there.
I mean, it's amazing. So with that said, that the penalty to the 40 would be. I mean, that would really hurt. Frankly, I mean, that's what we've got now in kicking the ball out of bounds. But
Brett, Bryant and Johnny didn't get to enjoy the good old days, especially at the high school level, but even in college, of trying to get the kicking shoe on.
Ah, yes, the kicking shoe.
That was always just the process a lot of times, Johnny, for the managers and the people on the sideline to find the kicking shoe.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Well, it was here on Thursday.
yeah, but it's not now, and this is when we're kicking.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, invariably it'd be kind of a bigger player that might be, a offensive lineman type and are the best athlete on the team that was the quarterback, and them trying to get that kicking shoe on. And I was at a game one night, and there was a real good player. He said, "To heck with the kicking shoe. I can kick it with any shoe." And he was just fine with it. But we're changing it. And it'll trickle down to college eventually, Brent, because we have made the kickoff really largely ceremonial.
It is. Oh yeah. And look, Bryant, you didn't go through this. Brett and I did. There was a time Brett was talking about what different shoes. Well, there was a time where there were no shoes.
Tony Franklin at A&M.
A lot of these guys kick barefooted. I mean, listen, we'd be at the podiatrist for a year if we kicked some barefoot down, but the reality is, these guys were so strong that they preferred to be barefoot when they kicked. So, and again, you rarely, Brett's right, Brian, you rarely get anything out of that play now. I'll tell you one thing it would do, would it not? If they invoke that rule, that would put some real emphasis on your special teams coach and how creative they could be.
Well, and they're already lunatics. So, every special teams guy I've ever known. But, Brian, or Brent, what I'm scared of only thing I'm reluctant about for your rule is just spotting it on the 20. You didn't want that. You said they'll eventually may just get to spotting it. I think that cuts out in college a lot of guys' ability to get some playing time. Younger players, freshmen, play special teams. If we just make it if we eliminate that, there's a lot of guys that won't be able to get on the field.
True, yeah, and that's huge. And there are a lot of guys, particularly obviously on defense, who are they're just hard hitters, and that gives them a chance to tee off and show what they can do, and that has led to, in their second year, some of these guys may be starting on defense and staying on special teams. So, point well taken on that one. And you also think about this for your kicker, how creative and accurate could they be? And some of them really are. I mean, they kick the ball down and have the thing land virtually at inside the 5-yard line.
It's the same principles.
On a regular basis.
it's the same principles of these golfers. They can make that sand wedge do whatever they want. And a lot of kickers are really accomplished golfers. It's a lot of the same routine. You'll head down, good pendulum motion, all that good stuff. You got to repeat it. You got to have good practice. You got to learn how to do it the right way, first of all, and then repeat it and repeat it and repeat it with muscle memory. But we have it down, especially think about in special teams now, across college and pro football. The last time you really saw a bad deep snap, they just airmail it over the punter. It's on time, room service every time.
It is. Unless it was Alabama last year.
Well, that wasn't in special teams.
Yeah, I agreed. Yeah. Well, and then the other thing I'm thinking here is, guys, when was the last time in the last 1, 2, 3, 5 years that you remember a kickoff return or a kickoff play that was really memorable with a score or a fumble recovery or maybe even an onside kick, I guess. We're not so much talking about onside kicks here, but if we're having a struggle to remember one, that kind of tells you where the lack of impact the kickoff has had.
And we had the kickers, and once upon a time, we had the tee that they could kick off out in college that got eliminated in NFL. I don't know if the NFL ever had a tee, did they?
I don't think they did.
For field goals
and Brent, you remember the tees for the tees for college. It just kind of kept going down and down and down, right? They got those down, and a lot of times after we had Coach Bill Battle on a few years ago, and he had a great self-help book out around the holidays. And when I was little, I was watching his coaching show here in Memphis on Sunday mornings, and he had a kicker, and I think his name was George Hunt, and he just had a long streak of extra points made, and he missed one. And he got the tee from the holder and threw it at the Tennessee bench and almost decapitated Bill Battle with the tee. Lord.
And he went over and said, "Son, I know you're mad, but you can't be throwing it at the bench. You almost killed me with it."
Yeah,
but
really.
The kicking came a long way. And I misspoke one time. I know you will remember him. And he drove one about head high. It just got over the goalpost in a monsoon down at Baton Rouge in '79 for Alabama. Alan McElroy, you remember him?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. That was a 3-0.
3-0 in a mud fest.
Yeah, it was a monsoon. I remember that well.
It was, and I introduced him one time at the Bryant Museum, and I had one of the gaff malaprops of my life. I'll repeat it, and I didn't mean it being ugly, so please nobody be offended, but I introduced him as Alabama's last straight kicker. I meant straight on.
Wow.
He did. That's a great point. Oh yeah.
That's hilarious.
But and listen, they needed him that badly that night because that was only what even close to scoring for either team in that game.
It was a stalemate in the mud between the 35s.
It really was, and now that was back in '79.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, this is one of the great things that you learn from the wisdom of your partner there is that would help me, Brent. But I bet that was before any kind of real artificial turf.
Oh, right? LSU's never had artificial turf, and it was a Saturday night, no TV. I'm listening on WWL.
It was. I remember but I think Brent and I were home and we listened to it on the Alabama network. But I remember that well. And listen, at night, WWL was a blowtorch.
You got John Forney. I got John Ferguson on the LSU network.
Oh yeah, and both of them. So and listen, I know we're chasing rabbits here, but one of the greatest games I ever heard was. Do you remember that USC LSU 17-12 thing where LSU was ahead most of the game? Southern Cal was number 1 in the nation and actually fumbled with about 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, LSU thought that they were going to win, but USC stopped them and then drove late, scored, and was able to win the game. So I'm listening to a mini LSU game at night.
And those two teams play opening weekend this year in Vegas.
Don't they?
And
Right.
we'll see him, and he's a guest every week on this show with Dave Woloshin, or on this station with Dave Woloshin in the mornings, Ron Higgins. Ron Higgins has to write that game week down memory lane, that story, doesn't he, Brent?
He really does. I mean, Ron is going through so much. Brother Brett has him on probably about every other week or so, and Ron has proverbially seen it all, has he not?
Real close to it.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to Brent Beard. He joins us every single Tuesday from First Coast News down in Jacksonville, talk college football and sometimes some college basketball, especially with March Madness going on right now. Well, Brent, spring training, good Lord, spring practices going on at all of these different colleges, and I was seeing some reports out of Auburn the other day that Peyton Thorne looks like he is taking a jump this year from what he looked like last year for Auburn, an Auburn team that really could not figure out which quarterback they wanted to run with. Some people are saying that it could get back to what we saw a couple years ago with Peyton Thorne when he was at Michigan State, threw for more than 3,000 yards and 27 touchdowns in 2021. Do you think with kind of the getting comfortable after 1 year, that coaching staff he has there and how they can develop quarterbacks, do you think we see improved play from Peyton Thorne this year?
Maybe so. I think also where we're seeing improved play is they have finally got an offensive line and I heard an Auburn beat writer say this that the other day. Brian Horston and Gus Malzahn did them no favors in recruiting offensive linemen, so that they're better there. The wide receivers are better with the two Camerons, as they say. One's a tremendous freshman. Their receivers last year, Brent, and me could have done a better job than what they've got.
It was really poor.
It really was. And Jarquez Hunter comes back. They like that running back room, and where that is. I think the jury's still out on Peyton Thorne. I think he's a serviceable quarterback. I don't think he's the quarterback that they really want, but that's what they've got. And if he's improved some, as I've heard the same thing, that will certainly help them.
You pick out kind of the platform diving of judging of Peyton Thorne. His highs were pretty good. The lows were not good at all. Mm-hmm. And the night I saw him in person, he didn't even start. Coach Free started Robbie Ashford in kind of a running attack against Ole Miss early, then pulled him, had Thorne. Thorne wasn't very good and was kind of, the protection was not great, and the receivers, as you talked about. Then he was real good up at Fayetteville in the blowout over Arkansas, and Peyton Thorne was pretty good at the Iron Bowl.
And it may just take a while to learn Freeze's system to go along with that.
But their quarterback's Walker White from Little Rock, isn't it? The incoming freshman.
Yes.
Eventually.
I can see that. Absolutely. I tell you,
big time player.
He is. I tell you, to dovetail what we're talking about, I'll be brief on that. But a couple of really promising quarterback situations down here would be what you have got at Florida and Florida State. You've got two veteran quarterbacks and two young quarterbacks that can be mentored and brought along. DJ Lagway at Florida is a backup, and at Florida State you've got DJ Ungalale, obviously the transfer, and Brock Glenn, who they like. So that's not a bad situation, Brian. Brett and I have seen a few of these over time where you've got a veteran like Graham Mertz at Florida, who really is a pretty good quarterback, and you can play your backup and maybe get them ready to where they're ready to fit in and go next year.
And I sincerely mean this. If I had high school senior, big-time quarterback recruited by everybody, playing for Hugh Freeze would be way up there for me. He can really coach quarterbacks, but I think his guy's going to be Walker White. First time I've asked this of any guest this spring, Bryant. I think you like it when I do it. Brent, if you could be an embed at somebody's every spring practice, every meeting of somebody in the SEC, where would you like to be at this spring? One place.
I'm going to throw an oddity out here, and I'm going to say Arkansas, because Bobby Petrino is back there, and they are at a, can I say, a desperation time almost.
Well, they are.
Let's be honest about that.
When you bring back a guy that embarrassed the school that badly, you know it's desperate.
No question. But, when he is when he's on the field, Petrino's, he can.
When he's got that Waffle House play sheet in front of him.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of it we could do, that, the newness in Alabama and Nico at Tennessee, and there are a lot of good stories. Elko at A&M, obviously too, but that popped in my mind. That would be.
I like it.
That'd be interesting to see where.
Well, we would only be about 3 hours apart from each other, because I'm going to go west to Norman.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it could potentially be Brent Venables' last spring if he doesn't win enough games next year. They're not going to limp around for long.
Well, and look, we all three know the pressure is not going to get any easier, is it? Going from the Big 12 to the SEC, and Oklahoma expecting to be vintage Oklahoma sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Brent, Brian, where would you go?
I think I would probably go down to the swamp, go to Florida. I mean, kind of same situation. You need a turnaround there, and you need to start doing something quick if you're Billy Napier. So I think I'd go down there, and especially with kind of that news of this offseason. Like Venables, and the kind of idea of, will he call plays next year for the offense? Will he give it to somebody else? I'm interested to see what that spring looks like for them.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Brian, he's giving that up anytime soon, I'll be honest with you.
I don't either.
And with the news day, I had a friend of mine text me, said he saw Ole Miss and Bachelor headline and said, please tell me it's going to be you in it. It's not going to be me in The Bachelor. I'm not joining it.
Too bad.
Former tight end and the guy that created the fire extinguisher on the sideline, Jonathan Hess. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
He's the one. He was in charge of the fire extinguisher for years, and now is a GA and great guy. But he's going to be on The Bachelor. It's not going to be me. Some of those headlines might have been a little confusing,
a little misleading.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
Well, Brent, before we let you go,
I stay up later than the show is actually. I go to bed earlier than the show is actually on. Brent.
That would be an issue.
I thought so. I'm not surprised.
Good Lord. Well, Brent, before we let you go, I do got to get a quick basketball question in here. What did you make of the SEC through the first two rounds? Only two teams remaining from the SEC, Tennessee and Alabama in the Sweet 16.
I think it's a better league than it showed, but I'm not going to make excuses.
No, it was atrocious.
You've got to be able to win your close games, and no matter how you play in the regular season, people are going to compare and measure your season as to how you did in the tournament. And obviously, now listen, if Florida and Auburn would have been able to win, and I'm not saying Auburn that Florida be in the Sweet 16, I think Auburn likely would have. And you're judged by that. And listen, A&M nearly came back and beat Houston. I mean, Houston had 4 or 5 starters that fouled out in that game. I like Buzz. I think he does a good job, Buzz Williams down there. But I mean, we thought Tennessee would be in there, but Bama's a bit of a surprise. They've obviously got their hands full with North Carolina. but they played much better defense in to be able to beat in Grand Canyon. But I think the league's better overall, but they've still got to go. They need them, what, Brett? 6-2-ish, something like that, and get about 4 of them in the Sweet 16.
Well, here's the problem. Unlike in football, that Alabama has been the bell cow and has done their job through the years carrying the league banner to national titles, Kentucky doesn't.
No,
we need to quit counting on Kentucky.
Listen, I agree with that entirely. Really do. South Carolina they just were glad to be there. That they weren't able to do much, frankly, at all. But that's a really good point, and they've got a big decision to make: is do they keep Cal, or do they decide that we have just had enough and we need to go in another direction at this point? So it's going to be a big off season, but I still say, and Brett knows this well, when Chris Beard gets his players in there, they're going to be a handful to deal with.
Yeah,
I think they will, but the effort down the stretch of the year by Ole Miss was lacking.
It was. I agree with that, but I still think he is a good enough coach where he will deal with that in the next couple of years.
When you see how hard those NCAA tournament teams played, how well drilled, how well schooled they are, right, to really see some coaches that don't require it, it is shocking. But Brent, when Cal goes, whenever Cal has to go, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, and I don't think it's going to be, or this time next year, when he goes, Mitch Barnhart's got to go with him.
Listen, that very well may happen. And look, there are people down here in Florida who are saying, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's been brought up too. Is if your main coach, whether it's basketball or football, if they go and it's been a stretch to where nothing has happened, or there've been no championships won, some of these ADs may very well go with that point. So,
Brent, I love the Coach Saban retirement stories. The idea that he is just now realizing that Ramajamas is right there by the stadium. He's never been, didn't know it was there. I eat a chili cheese hot dog every time I'm in T-Town from there. He didn't know it existed until a few weeks ago.
And listen, there are some coaches that would be a joke or they would be kidding. I'm telling you, he's not.
It's in the southwest end zone practically, and he didn't know it was there.
He is so focused on what, and that was a great article by Chris Lowe talking about him sending his first email and actually returning texts and things of that nature. Listen, if you could be a fly on the wall, it's probably amazing now when he and Miss Terrier together, what he has said and realized. How long's that been there? Well, Nick, it's been there about 15 years.
Ramajam's been there 50, and it's held together by grease and memorabilia. Maybe at the most. And by the way, if Kentucky, I don't think they do it, but if Kentucky got rid of Cal, that Bucky McMillan at Samford, boy, that is an impressive bunch. Frankly, that should have beat Kansas. So he may not be at Samford much longer.
No, I don't think so. With what they did this year, I would not be surprised if we start hearing his name out there for a lot of different jobs. But, Brent, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
Good. Always a lot of fun, guys. Appreciate you greatly. Take care.
Thanks, Brent.
Thank you.
Brent Beard from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. He joins us every single week, talk a lot of college football, but around this time we got to get to some college basketball as well with him. But speaking of college basketball, let's go ahead and get to a break. The Sweet 16 is set. It will kick off on Thursday and then go into Friday before we get to the Elite Eight. When we come back from the break, we'll start talking about these Sweet 16 matchups, the ones we're looking forward to, the teams we think have the edges in these games. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hello?
Hey, little sis. Did you get your W-2 yet?
Yes, I did.
Well, you know last year when I told you to file early to get your refund quick?
Yes, I remember.
Well, go ahead and call now, and you can get your refund fast.
Thanks. That's why I love you. Always looking out for your little sis.
To get your taxes filed quick and get your refund fast, go to Brenton Tax Service, located in Midtown Memphis on Madison Avenue. We may not be related to you, but at Brenton Tax Service, we protect you like family.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Are you aware? It's patio season. Family Leisure sure is. That's why they have factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and even, yes, patio furniture. Yes, sir, it's indeed patio season. So come by Family Leisure and check out all the brand new 2024 patio furniture sets. And with patio season here, you know that pool season will be here before you even know it. So buy now to get in line for your pool installation and get pre-season pricing. Plus, you could save $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, even up to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Family Leisure has got special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and even outdoor kitchens. I love it when it's patio season because of all the fantastic deals that Family Leisure makes available just for you. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Excellent, phenomenal, and awesome are just a few of the words that people have said online to describe their experience at 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination. And they're all true. Everyone, and I mean everyone, who works at 117 Prime strives for one thing: excellence. No one at Prime settles for not putting in the maximum effort in making your dining experience something you won't just cherish, but one you'll tell your friends about. There are a lot of things maybe you should keep to yourself, but telling a friend about 117 Prime is the one thing you can feel really confident about.
If you're a pro and flooring is your game, we'll help you win it. Because at LL Flooring, all we do is floors. You want decor?
Strike.
You want plumbing?
You're out.
LL Flooring has been helping pros knock it out of the park for over 30 years. Visit one of our 400 nationwide warehouses for one-on-one service, extensive inventory, and exclusive pro pricing. Get the pro treatment you deserve. Enroll today, online or in-store. LL Flooring, every step covered.
It's time to discover your new Kia at Gossett Kia on the Pike. And there's never been a better time to drive off in your new Kia. Make it happen today in a 2024 Kia Forte LXS. 41 MPG, $219 a month. How about sporty 2024 Kia Sportage LX? We gossip $289 a month. Both $34.99 to its signing. And get rugged in 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $429 a month. $39.99 to its signing, all 36-month lease. So call Bobby J to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, $39.85, MSRP $22,320. Sportage R724, $76.40, MSRP $29,635. Telluride RG $49.9963, MSRP $41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Trying to finish up an accident. Happened a little while ago on Highway 64 at Morningside Road. It's been busy today, to say the least, over here on 240 East, passing Billmore Parkway, headed up towards Poplar. Traffic's on the increase out of Midtown right now. It still looks pretty good, though, as you travel down 240 going southbound here at South Parkway. 55 down through DeSoto County starting to crank up as well. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services here in Memphis. Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
We're back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you, and obviously March, and that means March Madness, and we've got the Sweet 16 set. Thursday night, we get it started. Clemson, Arizona will kick us off at 6 o'clock on CBS. Shortly after that, San Diego State and UConn on TBS and True TV. 8:30, Alabama and North Carolina on CBS. And then wrapping up the night at 9 o'clock, Illinois and Iowa State. Those first day games, I should say, which one really sticks out to you that you're most intrigued with?
I'm looking forward to the ones that get started right at 6 o'clock. Right at 6 o'clock, the first game on Thursday, because that will set the music for the rest of the day. Yeah. That's Clemson and Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, we said it yesterday. I mean, it's a bunch of heavyweight fighters out here for these Sweet 16 games. I mean, all of these games, I think, are going to be really, really intriguing. And a lot of these, spreads kind of are reflective of that. 7.5 in Arizona and Clemson. 4.5 in North Carolina. I mean, 1.5 in Iowa State, Illinois. I mean, it's going to be a lot of tight games, I think.
And the games, the point spread set for the first two rounds were just right around. I mean, everything was the halves really mattered out there. I think it was pretty much a push, favorites to dogs winning. Yep. So that tells you they had it set really well. But I'm looking forward to that Clemson-Arizona game. I like Arizona. That was your preseason team.
Sure was.
And I wouldn't have. I thought Clemson was pretty good when I saw them play a 1-point game, 1-point loss to the Memphis Tigers. But I would have thought of those two teams. Anybody that goes to the Sweet 16 that day would have been the Memphis Tigers, not the Clemson Tigers. We've got good games coming up. Brian, I do my all-time top 20.
Yep.
And let me remind people, look, and I'm not saying mine's right. I would love for other people and other input, but I start with 1972 because that was freshman eligibility came in that year. That fall for football and 72-73 for basketball. They had freshman eligibility some back in the 40s around the war because because some went off and served. Like Arnie Farron was MOP of the Final Four, I think, in 44 as a freshman at Utah, but he was like 21 years old. But 72, that's when freshman eligibility, and that's when real integration had taken place across the sport. So I do my top 20 since then. That's 52 years this year, and that's been through a lot. Let's just say I'm right. I'm not saying I am, but let's just say I am. I have North Carolina 1, Duke 2, Kentucky 3, UCLA 4, UConn 5. I moved UConn up to 5 after last year. Yeah. Kansas 6, Indiana 7th, Louisville 8, Villanova 9, and Michigan State 10. If UConn wins it all,
oh man,
do they go to 2?
Brad, I think so.
I don't think they pass North Carolina.
No, but I mean, back-to-back titles and what they've done. I mean,
5, 3 coaches,
crazy. That's incredible.
3 for Calhoun, 1 for Kevin Ollie. Hurley has one working on back-to-back. Would join Florida 06, 07 in the back-to-back club.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly 2 or 3. I mean, when you do something like that, I mean, that's incredible. And the kind of success that they have had in recent years, not just these last 2 years. I mean, you go back to Kevin Ollie and his national championship, but have still been relevant.
So many good teams.
Too many to count. And so I certainly think they go out and win it this year. I mean, I think a big jump is in store for them.
Over the weekend, the big number of North Carolina, 36 Sweet 16s, and we're all impressed with the Gonzaga streak.
Yeah.
Now 14 total, but what is it, 9 straight years?
9 straight years, that's right.
9 straight years in Sweet 16 for Gonzaga. North Carolina's at 36 Sweet 16s. Arizona at 21. That's one more than Duke and UConn at 20.
Wow. That's
but just one title.
Yeah. So, that's
in 97 for Lute Olson.
That's what gets them. But Arizona, I think, is an interesting team this year to keep an eye on. I mean, I know I liked them preseason, but they're just so unpredictable since the start of the season. I just don't know what to do with them.
Marquette, 17 Sweet 16s. Houston, 16 Sweet 16s. And it's 60s, 70s, 80s, and 21st century for Houston. Long stretch between Phi Slamma Jamma and Kelvin Sampson. North Carolina State, their 14th Sweet 16. Purdue, 14. Gonzaga, 14. Illinois with 12. Bama with 11. Tennessee with 10. Iowa State with 7. San Diego State with 6. Creighton with 6. And Clemson, 16th of the Sweet 16 teams with only 5 Sweet 16 appearances.
Wow. It's crazy. And so,
only one Elite 8 ever for Clemson.
Well, that's not hard to believe.
No.
But,
Tobacco Road doesn't run through Clemson.
No, it does not. But I really do think, 7.5, you talked about them setting great lines for these games. I think that's a great line because, half of me is saying Arizona can go out there, they can, get to running and win this game by double digits. And then the other part of me says, well, I saw a team that likes to get out and run and knock down shots in Baylor, and Clemson just did not let them get anything. So I think that's going to be a really good game Thursday night to get things started. And I think that line at 7.5 is just perfectly set.
I didn't like him in December, P.J. Hall, but I fell in love with him this weekend in Memphis.
Really? Wow.
He was too cocky in the Memphis Tigers game for me, but he backed it up this weekend.
He sure did. Played really well, and that team. I was shocked and really surprised of how well they played, and I don't want to say inconsistent from them, but played well in the offseason or in the non-conference slate, did enough to build that padding. And then when conference play started, it was really up and down late in their conference play. It was, kind of rough to watch at times, but, very consistent in those 2 games here in Memphis.
Let me be clear. Mm-hmm. I'm going to use the word again that I used with Brent Beard in the last segment. The SEC showing was atrocious. Yeah. Please, everybody hear that. Mm-hmm. I'm not making any excuse for them. It was atrocious. It was underwhelming. Mm-hmm. It was poor. It was more talk than action. Mm-hmm. You fill it in however you want. My question is, do you think I am right in that we have the wrong standard bearer in Kentucky? They can't back it up like Bama does in football. And this. Do you think the football success and the big budgets make everybody expect the SEC to be as good in basketball as in football? And we always come back to this, and you saw the good tweet from Yale. I don't blame them. It just means more always comes back to get them when they lose.
Well, it does. That's kind of become the thing.
That was a great tweet by Yale. This one really just meant more.
It really was. And you're right. It always comes back to kind of haunt the SEC. But I don't know. I think, there are some really good teams in the SEC and when it comes to basketball. And I think, obviously, when you are as dominant as they are in football, that kind of carries over and you become the kind of dominant conference, or supposed to be the dominant conference in every sport. And I think you've seen a lot of that.
But people don't crack on the Big Ten that badly, and they hadn't won it since 2000.
And
they're good in football.
Not as much, but last year when they got all those teams in the tournament, and then pretty much all of them lost in the first round, there was a lot of kickback. I don't think it was as much as what the SEC is getting, but then I think that brings in the whole, it just means more and kind of that.
And if you give it, you got to be able to take it.
Yes, that kind of aura
Too bad.
around the conference, I think it comes back and gets them. And maybe we feel more of that because we're here in SEC country, and you could maybe go ask an Ohio State fan, and they'd say, "Oh, we got it when we get it all the time from other people." But I think there is something about the aura of the SEC that hurts them.
We might have a little movement in an hour, when we get 45 minutes when we get to what's trending. Do you think Louisville maybe is waiting on one of these coaches playing this weekend?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, the names I've seen that it sounds like they're circling are none that are in here. But maybe they're trying to keep a name quiet. But I don't know.
TJ Otzelberger?
Maybe. That would certainly probably be the only name that
you leave
I
Iowa State
of.
for Louisville, don't you?
I think absolutely. I don't see many coaches that are still standing that would leave and go take the Louisville job. Maybe Otzelberger is the only one, but I don't know. It's very weird what has gone on at Louisville these last couple of weeks.
It is 901-360-8255. If you'd like to weigh in, that's the text, talk, and guest line. And it's brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies and the Memphis Tigers, the hometown teams. That new great location opened at 4542 Poplar. I was by there yesterday. Bill Jones and his great team, they're here to stay. Some blow in and out overnight, not Sissy's Log Cabin, a fabric of the community with the Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, earrings. Easter's a special time for shopping for jewelry for your loved one. And then into May, kind of engagement season starts. 9,000 square feet in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and much more. For a great graduation gift, go check out that Rolex department there. Since 1970, with 6 locations across the Mid-South, Sissy's offers a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, and an expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Well, let's get to a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Spring is around the corner. That means the sounds of air conditioners cranking up will be in the air soon. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. This month only, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier AC unit. No gimmicks. Just $1,000 off for the Choate's Early Bird Carrier AC Special. If your AC is in good shape, call us to get your $60 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC cleaned and ready for the warm seasons ahead. Choate's is here for all your cooling, heating, plumbing, air duct cleaning, and commercial needs. Call us today at 347-8086 to take advantage of these early bird specials. Or to schedule online, visit ChoatesHVAC.com. So turn to the experts with Choates. And remember, let our family serve your family.
Hey Mid-South, it's springtime, so let's celebrate with the Gossett Mitsubishi Motor Spring Sales Event. Time to go spring breaking with 43 MPG Highway. Do it right with 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. We Gossett for only $19,110 or $259 a month. Go your own way in style with 2024 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. We Gossett $30,150 or $449 a month. Or hit the road in 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE $36,165 or $399.99 a month. Plus, every Gossett Mitsubishi comes with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Lodge RH 06614 MSRP 1916 Eclipse RZO 32749 MSRP 30650 Outlander RZO 12807 MSRP 36165 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and licensee dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place: the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance Team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
Hello, Memphians. Wake up each and every Tuesday morning weekly to Cup Club Early Morning Show. Cup Club Early Morning Show each and every Tuesday morning weekly 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. right here on AM 56. Hosted by former Arkansas State Red Wolves Hall of Fame fullback Ricky Jemison. Enjoy special guest interviews, top sports local, nationally, and Monsters Game Pro Football League updates. Cup Club Early Morning Show right here on AM 56.
O'Reilly. Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Jason, the main man Marshall's marking down everything on the lot. He just can't help himself.
I love making my customers happy at Gossett Volkswagen on Covenant Pike.
Well, Jason, how you doing it this month?
With deals like this, Randy, choose from 2024 Taos S, 2024 Tiguan S, or a 2024 Jetta Sport. Take your pick, just $275.96 a month.
Jason, how about Tiguans?
How about 0% for 60 months on 24 Tiguans, plus 1.9 for 60 months on all Atlas and Atlas Cross Sports, and no reasonable offer will be refused.
So hook up with Jason, the main man Marshall at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike, or go online, GossettVWMemphis.com.
Just come see me, Jason, the main man Marshall at Gossett Volkswagen on Covenant Pike, where we're charging forward and charging less every day.
Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike.
All 36 monthly, $7,500 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Taos, RMO 53314, MSRP 26063. Tiguan, RM 003120, MSRP 30026. Jetta, RMO 48802, MSRP 25506. Cannot combine APR with 3,000 customer cash rebate. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Offer expires end of the month.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, I've got two big numbers today, both basketball big numbers. One, a big number coming from March Madness, the other one from the NBA. So I'll start with my March Madness big number, and it is the number 100. 5 different teams had 100-point games during the first 2 rounds of this year's NCAA tournament. Alabama scored 109, Purdue scored 106, Colorado scored 102, Houston scored 100, and Florida scored 100. That is the most through this stage of a tournament since 1989, when 7 teams did score 100 points. So impressive, high scoring by a lot of teams out there in these first 2 rounds. My second big number comes from the NBA, and it's the number 40, including his last game against the Pacers. Anthony Davis for the Lakers. We'll see him maybe tomorrow night. Anthony Davis has 40 career games with 35 or more points and 15 or more rebounds. The only other NBA player with more games over the last 40 seasons with 35 or more points and 15 or more rebounds is Shaquille O'Neal, which, I mean, that's good company when you're in conversation with Shaquille O'Neal. So Anthony Davis, certainly when healthy, one of the best big men in the game right now.
Has Anthony Davis done enough in his Lakers career that if it ended now, if he just filled in the back of the basketball card, for him to have his number retired by the Lakers?
I don't think so.
I don't either, John.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
One bubble title.
Yeah.
And the in-season tournament.
Well, yeah, I forgot about the in-season tournament.
We forget about that quick.
We don't, but too many do, John.
That's a good point.
We will never forget it. You know who will have a lot of tickets at Will Call tomorrow night for a lot of friends in this area?
Who's that?
Magic Reeves.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Just
Austin
torched
Reeves.
us in the playoffs last year.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Something
Yeah,
I try not to remember.
What a nightmare.
He was either at the rim or draining threes like
right.
they were set shots.
Yep.
It was unbelievable.
I have nightmares about it.
That game one still drives me crazy. My big number is 229. I went through all those Sweet 16s, and you got to trust me on this one.
Okay.
That's the number of Sweet 16s for this year's 16 teams in the Sweet 16. 229, led by North Carolina at 36, all the way down to Clemson at 5. Locally, if you're wondering how local teams would look if they were in it, Memphis all-time, 11 Sweet 16s, 6 Elite Eights, 3 Final Fours, 2 runners-up, never have won it. Arkansas, so Memphis would be in there at T11 with Alabama this year. Arkansas with 14 Sweet 16s, 8 Elite Eights, 6 Final Fours, 1 national runner-up, and 1 national championship. They would be in with North Carolina State, Purdue, and Gonzaga, T7, in the 14 Sweet 16 club.
Wow. That's a good company to be in. So.
You can tell I was up early this morning, can't you?
Yes, you were. Yes, you were. But, hey, for good reason. I mean, you got to have a good big number, and that was a really good one.
And ready for the Sweet 16, and I've got the Elite Eight numbers, 29 Elite Eights all-time for North Carolina, 11 all-time for Arizona, 20 for Duke, 12 for UConn, 7 for Marquette, 7 for Houston now, 6 for NC State.
It's crazy.
So we have no Cinderella.
No, there's certainly no Cinderella here. And
6 Elite Eights for Gonzaga.
That's
They're a win away from their 7th.
They are. So, I mean, you look at, as much as, I like a good Cinderella, we said it yesterday. I mean, it makes for really competitive Sweet 16 games, even more competitive Elite 8 games. When you've got these teams that have shown the season, they are the better teams in the country. That's why they have the high rankings. And I mean, you look through and, 2 versus 3, 1 versus 4, 1 versus 5, I mean, it's going to be some really, really good games. I'm excited for them. I'm ready for Thursday.
I think Houston blasts Duke.
I think so, too. I think especially talking to David Cobb about it yesterday, and I think he swayed me on it right now. Houston, a 4.5-point favorite. I think they make it look easy.
There are a few exceptions. UConn never was even close last year. Hadn't been close in the first 2 this year. 09 North Carolina with Tyler Hansbrough, and they came through Memphis. They made it look easy. Yeah. Usually, on your way to winning it all, you have to have that one near-death experience. Sure. And I think Houston got theirs out of the way in Memphis Sunday night.
Yeah, it was certainly a scary one. I mean, when you have that shot drained against you to force overtime, and then you look up and
you could wilt.
I mean, every player on your roster pretty much is in foul trouble, and you've got to throw a walk-on out there to knock down free throws to secure the win.
Free throw singular.
Well, that's true. Free throw,
the first one missed back. Yes. First one came closer to hitting the shot clock than to going in.
And I thought, this is going to get really, really interesting. But
nailed the second one.
So good for him. But it did. You're right. That it got very got real there late at FedEx Forum. So I'm excited for Thursday. It's going to be here before we know it. Also opening day in Major League Baseball on Thursday. So it's going to be a big, big day here in a few days. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour and get to a break. When we come back, we talked a lot of NFL to start the show with the rule changes that have come out over the last 2 days. But a lot of NFL to get to. We'll do that to start our 5 o'clock hour with Bo Marchant.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's time to replace. And right now you can get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. Plus with our March 31-day sales event, you can save $377 off every window and $777 off every door when you buy 4 or more units. Just text FRONT to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no monthly payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text FRONT to 200-300 to save $377 off every window and $777 off every door when you buy 4 or more units. Hurry, this incredible 31-day sales offer is only in March. Text FRONT to 200-300. Text the word FRONT to 200-300. FRONT to 200-300.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos, a better, easier way to get term life insurance, all online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, 39.85, MSRP 22,320. Sportage R7, 24,7640, MSRP 29,635. Telluride RG 49,9963, MSRP 41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Hey, it's my man Jeff Allen bringing sweet deals from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey, Randy, I've got a 2024 Kia Forte LXS that gets 41 mpg highway, and you can hit the road for just $219 a month.
That's awesome. What else you got?
2024 Kia Sportage LX, $289 a month. Both 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing. Or go big in a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $429 a month. 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing.
Plus, get peace of mind with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
We're online 24/7, KiaMountMoriah.com.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Sports 56.
Good afternoon. They finally moved that earlier wreck on 240 eastbound over here at Poplar. Traffic starting to move a little bit better now, but it remains heavy on 240 east, let's say from Mill Branch all the way out to 385. Millmore's Parkway and South looks pretty good as you continue out towards Collierville. Starting to pick up again through the Midtown area on 240 south here at South Parkway. 24/7 reliable crane and rigging services right here in Memphis. It's Tomahawk Crane and Rigging. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us now like he does every single Tuesday on the Sissy's Log Cabin phone line to talk the NFL. And Bo, a lot to get to with the rule changes to just off-season news, draft coming up, plenty to get to today. But I do want to start off with those rule changes to the NFL over the last couple of days. Yesterday it was announced that they are eliminating the hip drop tackle. It will be penalized this year. And then today, the big news, they're moving more to the XFL kickoff model that we saw in the XFL last season. Also, they are going to move the trade deadline to the the Tuesday after Week 9 from Week 8, where it is currently set. What did you make of these rule changes coming to the NFL?
Well, I can be honest with you. I won't understand them until probably 2 years from now. It's kind of like overtime. I still don't know when the game ends or when it begins. So, no, they're good rules. The kickoff is such a odd thing. They're trying to eliminate concussions and guys getting hurt. But, at the end of the day, special team coaches and the guys that play special team, it's an integral part of the game, and they want it to be played. So, they're trying to take, I guess, the politically correct move of trying to make it safer. But at the end of the day, the purists, the people I think that play the game, the people who coach the game, they'd rather have it more to the way it was than to the way it is. And then the hip drop tackle, I just don't want to see. I want to see more consistency. Well, I shouldn't say I want to see more consistency, but just like when we have the quarterbacks getting hit, and sometimes these guys get nailed, sometimes they get breathed on, and the flag comes out. I just want to make sure the refs are going to be able to police it and flag it the correct way. That's where I get nervous because that's a tricky thing to call. And, we're going to talk about it one time at least next year where that hip drop tackle is going to be called, flagged, a critical part of the game. And it might be a blatant hip drop or it might not be a hip drop at all. But nonetheless, it's just going to be something for us to get more aggravated with the referees and kind of more aggravated with how the NFL kind of goes about, calling flags or not calling flags.
And both for the referees, we're just making the hardest job in the world harder with these nuanced rules that, as you said, most of us that follow this stuff don't completely understand. A lot of people that play it and coach it may not understand. And then you throw in the replay and the high-techery we have, the poor refs, it's just making their jobs impossible when right now we don't even really know what a catch is anymore. So how are they going to explain the old hip drop to me?
Yeah, it's so funny you talked about the catch. Yeah, there's points where you just sit there sometimes on Sundays, you're watching it, and you kind of question yourself, like, do I even know what's going on? And it goes back to some of these rules. That's why I opened up the show. It's going to be something where the game starts, and, I've been getting messages throughout the day of, some of them are jokingly, some of them are serious, like the description of the rule, and, things are just, you're just sitting there, you're trying to understand it. But nonetheless, we'll all kind of fall in line, but we are at a point where you got to kind of question, yourself as a fan, as somebody who watches and loves the game. You got to really be up the top, I guess, topped on this stuff, because it can be a slippery slope as we move forward with some of these rules.
I've got a headline from a news story. I'm going to read y'all the kind of the big headline, the sub-headline, and maybe the first paragraph, and then I'll get your comments. Here's the headline. Football Rules Committee decides upon 6 far-reaching changes in the game. As far as possible, the dangers which in the past have attacked the game, they will be eliminated. Flying tackles prohibited. The game is divided into 4 periods of 15 minutes each. No pushing or pulling of runner allowed. Mass plays eliminated. First headline, 6 far-reaching changes in the game of football were decided upon today by the Football Rules Committee. Y'all want to guess a year for that headline? Those headlines? Y'all want to guess a year?
I have no idea.
Any guesses? You want to guess a century?
Oh,
wow!
I don't know.
Lay it on us, Brad. I have no clue.
This date in 1910, after college football officials were called to the White House to visit with Teddy Roosevelt.
Wow. That's
me.
Crazy. That's incredible.
1910.
Wow. How about that?
We've only been talking and doing this forever, and we keep adjusting.
Sure.
Yeah, and we'll continue down that road.
That's
There's
right.
going to be more modifications, and I just the referees. You mentioned it. It's such a difficult job, and in that split second, it's hard to kind of go back. And the weird thing is, some plays they can change and go back and look at, and I just think the quarterback plays, when these guys get hit, and sometimes when these flags come out, and just the outrageous way that, it changes the game, and it's just that's what frustrates me, and it's. They should be able to kind of review that, say, hey, you know what, send it to New York. They have all the technology in the world. It's just, but, it's big. As we joke around all the time, the Shield will do what the Shield wants to do, and we will just play along.
Yep. That's how it goes. And another thing that I really shouldn't have been surprised by, but I guess I was, the NFL announcing that they will do a doubleheader on Christmas Day this year, which is a Wednesday. I remember Brett and I had a conversation earlier, maybe around the Christmas Day game last year, saying there's no way that they would play on a Wednesday. We were very foolish. Should we be surprised at this point that the NFL is going to go out of their way to play a doubleheader on Wednesday? Because they know we will all watch it no matter what day they put it on.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'm not going to lie.
Well, good. At least I'm not alone.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I just hope the Steelers aren't on Christmas Day so I get to stay home. So that's about my biggest wish for Christmas NFL television. So I definitely don't want to go cover a game on Christmas. I'd rather be home with family, watching my kids open gifts and doing that kind of stuff. But, listen, it's a moneymaker. We see the numbers compared. The NBA kind of got this kick started, and they start televising games, and then the NFL got onto it, and their domination, as we know, in the ratings, and they're just going to kind of carry that on. It's a moneymaker, and as a moneymaker, you kind of got to do those things. But the Wednesday was strange. I thought the Steelers game during COVID would be the only Wednesday game, but we're going to come to learn that it will not be the only Wednesday game, at least of late. I don't know. There could have been some crazy game back in the day on a Wednesday, but nonetheless, I thought that Wednesday afternoon during COVID, I thought that would be the lone standing Wednesday game. But
that was a weird one. That game was the first one since 1949 on a Wednesday.
Wow.
Who did the Steelers play that day? Boca. Somehow I want to think the Giants were in it.
Yeah, Brett, I do not remember. I don't
either.
Yeah, I have. I do not remember that date. I just remember that they were undefeated up to 11-0 to a point, and then that 3-game stretch they had like 3 games in 9 days. It was some outrageous amount of games, and they were never right after that. It was kind of a weird way that happened, and we know COVID. They were trying to keep everything in line so they didn't have to adjust the schedule and cancel games and just keep everything fluid. But I think those games stacked the way that they were. I think that took a lot out of that team down the stretch. And
there was a time on Christmas Day that it might be an NBA game at night, but a lot of times what led off early in the day was the blue-gray all-star game from Montgomery.
Yeah. For us, at least me, like I detach from sports on holidays. At least I know, it's always on in the rooms that we're at, and it's kind of like a Thanksgiving day. But at least for Christmas, I know at least where I'm at least how our family celebrates. It's in the background, but nonetheless, we're gathered around a long Italian dinner table with there's probably 40 of us,
right.
just enjoying Christmas.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's in the background. And, sometimes you'll get up, somebody you might be watching. And if if it's a great game, in basketball too, if it's 98-98 and Durant has the ball at the end, you're all going to kind of, peek in and see what's going on. But other than that, it's kind of background noise. And but again, it's what you want to do, and you think somebody might get an early Christmas present where you're going to see the Jets on Christmas Day. It's a lifetime thing where you might not be a New York person. You might be from, just say, Wyoming, and now you get to go visit the Big Apple and go to MetLife and sit there on the Meadowlands. So it's a fun thing. It's just, but for me, I just hope the Steelers aren't playing on Christmas Day. That's my Christmas wish early.
There would, and even now I think there's a couple Rainbow Classic. There's a couple college basketball games usually on Christmas Day, but the NBA had taken over. Here comes the NFL. I can remember, and I won't say they did it more than once, but I do remember at least once the Fiesta Bowl was on Christmas Day, 1978, because Arkansas played UCLA and they tied 10-10.
Wow, that's I don't remember that at all.
And we watched every down of it intently. Wow. I mean, we had Santa Claus had done his thing. It was time for football.
That's great.
I remember opening a box of football cards. I remember doing stuff like that on Christmas Day with football stuff and playing with the football
and helmets and shoulder pads.
Yeah,
full game may break out.
I remember I got a Steelers bike one year.
Ooh,
it was kind of a cool thing.
That is cool.
I got a Steelers ski cap one year.
Ooh.
Bo.
Yeah. And Brett, we're of age, but for the older audience will know, but for the younger audience, at least when we were growing up, listen, you went to Sears, and where I was, we're in Eastern Ohio, you had the Steelers, the Browns, the Cowboys, the Dolphins, and the Raiders. And if it wasn't one of those 5 teams, you weren't getting it. That was just basically the way
it was. It was hard. It was hard to get gear one year. I don't know how. My brother got a Packers sweatshirt, and I got the Chiefs. I'm going.
Man.
I never told Santa a thing about the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Never mentioned it.
Yeah. Rams shirt, and the one brothers that they had, one was an Oilers fan and a Rams fan, and they had a shirt, and it was like you were seeing an astronaut or an alien coming from outer space.
He really was.
Because you just go online, you can buy anything you need, anything you want, it's shipped to you next day. But back then, man, if you're going through the Sears catalog, you're just, wow, I wish I could order that. I wish I could have this.
Just take whatever you could get.
Yeah, but that was the day. Those 5 teams, anything outside those 5, you were not going to get it.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, I did find who the Pittsburgh Steelers played in that Wednesday matchup during COVID. It was the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, wow.
Wednesday afternoon.
I don't remember. Everything was so crazy that year with
everything
scheduling.
kind of ran together at that point.
Just hallelujah, we were playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Bo, I'm curious, with the offseason, what new head coach at a team are you really paying attention to what they do this offseason? I know Jim Harbaugh, I'm hearing a lot of people say that they're watching what he's doing over in San Diego, or I guess Los Angeles, good Lord. But who are you keeping an eye on? What new head coach are you keeping an eye on this offseason?
Yeah. Well, why don't we stick with 2 teams in the AFC West? I mean, I know Pierce was the interim coach, but now he gets full reign, so I think there's a lot of expectations out of Vegas, and you got to go with Harbaugh. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's had a track record, already appeared in the Super Bowls, coming off a national championship, has a franchise quarterback. So the delay it anywhere else, I think you're kind of being numb to the fact that, with his ability and the way he can get a team going, you got to think that a 5-12 Chargers team from last year is going to be the team that we thought they were going to be last year. It's going to be the team Brett thought was going to win the Super Bowl. Or go to the Super Bowl. He can make that pick this year, and we'll be like, all right, we're behind you.
He won't.
So, yeah. But if you did, it would be like, okay, yeah, I could at least, but that's, I think, what Harbaugh brings to the table in terms of a head coach. And maybe I'm not giving a fair answer because he's already had experience as an NFL coach, but nonetheless, he's in a new system or a new city, with the Chargers. And I like the excitement of it, especially in the AFC West with Mahomes, the way that they've dominated back-to-back championships. And then you have this Chargers team that looked poised to make some noise, but they fell flat, very, very flat last year. And Brandon Staley's gone, and then you bring in Harbaugh, who we know should turn this team around quickly and put them in the upper echelons of AFC teams, if not the NFL itself.
Bo, it's weird. I might be the only person south of Dayton, Ohio, that likes both Urban Meyer and Jim Harbaugh.
Listen,
I like tough guys. I like winners.
Yeah, I got no problem with anybody. Really, it's Meyer is a legend. It's just you can't. People could say personality or anything, but you're talking a coach. What he was able to do from Utah to Ohio State to Florida,
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green. Forgot that's how he got to Utah. So, just an absolute beast as a head coach. I know Jacksonville didn't work out for him, but we see that all the time with coaches that are in the collegiate level. The NFL doesn't work out. It doesn't mean they're not good coaches. It's just not their gig. They're just better at at the college level. And who knows? We'll never know how many college or NFL coaches wouldn't do well on the college game. It's just you kind of always want to promote and be professional, and that's the way it goes. But Meyer's a stud, and in Harbaugh, he can ruffle people the wrong ways a little bit, odd in his personality and some of his conferences. But I know it doesn't matter if I root for the Wolverines or the Buckeyes or anybody that these guys have coached, but nonetheless, you can't take away what they bring in terms of coaches and being some of the best we've ever seen at their profession, especially Meyer. You talk about one of the best we've seen, at least in the last 2 decades. I mean, you put them right up there in the top 3, I think, top 4, top 5.
2 national championships with the Gators, 1 at Ohio State, and just a great coach. He might not be the most likable guy, might not be the president of the local Kiwanis Club chapter, but he's a really good college football coach. Bo Marchant talking NFL with us, and the draft is really starting to sneak up on us. It will be in Detroit. Detroit, a great season last year, just a player or 2 away from going to their first Super Bowl ever. How many quarterbacks in the first round go in this draft?
I got 6 going. I think the 3 that we talk about in terms of May and Daniels and Williams go, and I think McCarthy, Nixon, Penix all go. I just think the NFL, the landscape, Brett, the way teams can jockey around and trade draft capital, and if you don't like the guy, you just kind of go right back to the well and put the bucket down in there and hope you get a bigger fill. So I think we get 6, at least 5.
We've made them that expendable, Bo. I said it a few years ago with how they have the money set up now, and I don't mean this as crudely as it comes out. We've made them throw away lighters, cigarette lighters.
Yeah, it's either get it or you don't. Everybody wants C.J. Stroud. You want Justin Herbert. Anything less than that, you're almost looked at, frowned upon. You're like, wow.
We throw him overboard and get another one.
Yeah, we get another one. So I just think that's where we're at. And in my mind, if I'm a team that needs a quarterback, how can't you invest a pick to get one of those guys? Because if you catch lightning in a bottle, just the way the Texans have, Stroud has brought the Houston Texans to the forefront of the AFC. Unless he takes a ginormous step backwards, they are now in the driver's seat to be a powerhouse just because of Stroud. If they miss, then, we're saying, the Texans got to go back to it. But if I'm any team looking for a quarterback, the way the money's set up, you're not tied to these guys. You can move on from them. Look, the Steelers moved on from Pickett after 2 years. The Steelers did. Now, this isn't a team that makes a lot of moves. But they're like, you know what? It's not working out. We're going to move on. So I just think if you have the opportunity to take one of these guys, you take one. Because listen, you could take a tackle. They could be great, or they could, they're going to be a bust. But if you get a quarterback who's good, that really has something special, it changes the whole trajectory of a franchise. And I just think for a number 1 pick, anywhere, for me personally, I just think the way the teams draft and throw draft capital around, the maneuvers that they can do in the 2024 league that we see, I would go all in on a quarterback and just take. If it doesn't work out, a year or 2 from now, we'll go right back to it.
Yeah, I'm with you. And looking at your mock draft, and listeners can go check out your mock draft and should go check out your mock draft at collegetopro.com. With the last pick, you have, via a trade, the Seahawks getting that pick and taking Michael Penix Jr. I, for a couple of weeks, have been all in on this idea of the Seahawks finding a way to get Penix. They brought in his former offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, in as the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. What about that situation in Seattle puts you to that decision for you to have the Seahawks trading into late first round and drafting the former Washington University quarterback?
Well, I think I think the best year we saw out of Geno Smith was 2 years ago, and he kind of settled back. And it wasn't that he was bad, but we just know what you're getting. There's not going to be a higher ceiling. I think that was the best. I always say when you look at the back of the bubblegum card, 2 years ago is going to be the year you say that was Geno Smith's best year. They bring in Sam Howell, who really never worked out in Washington. And again, to think that Sam Howell's going to become this superstar in Seattle, I don't think that either. Fifth-round quarterback, we look at the landscape of the league, usually every team wants a number 1 guy. There's a very few far between guys. We know Brady. You got your Dak Prescott, or Russell Wilson. But when you look at the landscape of Kirk Cousins, if you will, they're all number 1 guys. And Penix would be a number 1 guy if Seattle takes him in the first round. So that just kind of puts the onus on Seattle wanting to put that guy under center. And then you have a backup in Howell. And then you have a guy that you can, lean on in Geno. Let him drive the ship and do what you need to do until, Penix is ready. And then you got a security blanket in Howell. That's what led me to it. I just think it goes back to what I mentioned earlier in the show. If you're going to just, if you're going to keep Smith and Howell, what are you doing? Where are you going? I mean, Do you just want to be 9-8? Do you just want to be a good football team, or do you want to be a great football team? Do you want to get back to the playoffs? Do you want to get back to the Super Bowl? If that's John Schneider's quest, you deep down know that you're not going to do that with either one of the guys on that current roster. The defense isn't good enough. The offense isn't good enough. You need a playmaker to kind of increase that level of play, and then it just kind of builds that momentum into a winner. And we've seen it. Mahomes, Burrow. I mean, look at the Bengals. A franchise that can't find its way. You get Burrow, boom, you're in the Super Bowl, and now you're a contender. Same with Buffalo. Same with the Chargers with Herbert. So I just think you gotta pull the plug. You gotta get after these guys, and I think Penix, Nix, McCarthy, and the three other guys that should go 1, 2, 3. Listen, and we know this. 50%, probably 75. I don't know the number, but 3 or 4 of them are going to be bust. But you got to take the risk, because the risk, the reward outweighs the risk every time.
Both the long knives are really out. A lot of anti-Bill Belichick stories out. Some very unflattering Patriot stories out. It makes me sick to see some of this junk, because it would have never been written if he was still coaching, because they were scared to death of him. And, oh, by the way, for a lot of those years, they ended it with a parade through the streets of Boston with a Lombardi trophy. I know the last few years hadn't been very good, but this documentary that really went after them, had them 30, 31st, 32nd in the league, kind of in moral support and staff around the team. Not enough of a pregame spread for the families, not enough daycare on game day for the families. You know what? They might have been 32nd in all this lovey-dovey stuff, but they were number 1 for a long time where it really mattered.
Yeah, well, you take the heart and soul of that team. You take the Mike Vrabels, you take the Ted Bruschi, you take those
Richard Seymour.
Guys, Richard Seymour, the Rodney Harrisons, the Deion Branches, the Troy Browns, the Tom Brady's, all those guys that were the critical factors in the dynasty that we look back on. And, would they say it's hard? Yeah, they would have said it's hard, but was it worth it? Absolutely. I heard Charlie Weiss, he was the OC there. We know a long history with Belichick and the Patriots. He does NFL radio, and he said last week he was getting messages and, people, a lot of the players that I mentioned, but he said his blood was boiling when he was watching it. And he said he was going to finish it before he actually had his tirade about how upset he was. And he was actually upset that he wasn't, his name was never mentioned. He was never reached out to, at least what he said on the show. So I just don't like the bad blood. That I don't like how we're in a world right now, or at least the landscape of the NFL, where Belichick meant nothing. It was all Brady. And because Brady won the Super Bowl in Tampa, and that means Brady was the reason why they were winners. Listen, that's a hand-in-hand. It's peanut butter and jelly. It's milk and cereal. It's French fries and a hamburger. You cannot separate them. They're locked at the hip. One would have never received what the other one had without each other. Listen, they might not have gotten along. Belichick might have, put him in the, towards the end, it got old. And I would probably have felt the way if I was Tom Brady, but that's what made Tom Brady the guy. And in Belichick, I just said, listen, we all go through these phases, or I should say, these guys at this level, there's always these roller coasters. There will be a point, this is a rough patch for Belichick, but I think it'll rise again, and he gets the glory and the well wishes and the love that he deserves, because we're so easy to forget how crazy. We will never see that again in the NFL. I mean, just 20-plus years of complete domination of a division, let alone a conference. 8 Super Bowls, 10 Super Bowls they went to.
He won with Kevin Hogan at wide receiver.
He could win with anybody. I loved it. I think it was Jonas Gray or it was a Notre Dame running back, and I think he played one game or started one game. And out of the blue, he came and he ran for like 200 yards. I might be totally off, but I know it was some outrageous amount of numbers. And it was just, I tell you, I think he was just so good at points in his life, Belichick coaching, that he'd just be like, hey, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run Brett 41 times. He's going to get 300 yards, and we're going to put him back on the practice squad. I mean, it was crazy, some of the things that he was able to do. And but I hope, and he will. He's going to get his love right now. And I think why we're talking about it also reflects that the people who were involved, they might not necessarily agree with how it's portrayed and how it's coming across. So I think the people in the Belichick camp are definitely not happy with it.
Yeah, well, I hope you're right in that this kind of gets out of the way and we get back to kind of the praising of the Bill Belichick era and what he did.
Because great organizations are really highlighted by who has the best game day daycare.
Yeah.
Brett, I'm going to text you what I can't say online or on the air. When we hang up, I'll text you what I think of that. And
please do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bo.
Yeah,
Happy
Bo.
Easter to you and yours.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Happy Easter. Stay blessed, guys. Thank you.
You got
Thanks, Bo.
Bo Marchant with us every Tuesday talking the NFL. It's Chevy truck season at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. All the Silverados you want right there at All-Star Chevrolet. First exit on Highway 78 as you cross into Mississippi on Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there. Come get any new Silverado you want. Well, financing down to 0.9. Your good credit deserves it, and you'll get it at All-Star Chevrolet, Trailblazers, and Equinox with 1.9 financing and no payments for 90 days. Families love the new Suburban, so we all can do more together. Where are you going for Easter and for spring break and for the rest of March Madness and that first big maybe baseball trip of the spring and summer? What are you going to be driving? You need to be driving something from All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. Military, teachers, first responders, college students, healthcare workers. We saw the value of first responders this morning in Baltimore, didn't we? Mm-hmm. They all get an extra $500 bonus back. You want something pre-owned, everything you want right there at All-Star. All the Jeeps and Ram trucks. Come drive a Yukon Denali or a Traverse. If it's not on the lot, ask Jeff or Kevin. They'll find it for you. And Jeff and Kevin wish everyone in our audience a happy Easter, happy Holy Week, happy springtime. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah, Bartlett, or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Go to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Well, we need to get to a break, and when we come back, we'll get to what's trending.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
You know our trusted partner, TireRack.com, for their fast, free shipping, free road hazard protection, convenient installation options, and their great selection of best tires, like the highly consumer-rated Michelin Cross Climate 2. But did you know they sell other automotive products? Wheels, brakes, suspension, just to name a few. Go to TireRack.com/Colin. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
I am such a failure.
You're going to have to narrow that one down a bit.
As the spokesperson for Central Barbecue, I have failed to tell everyone about the new location in South Haven.
Technically, I'm the spokesperson for Central Barbecue.
Well, I haven't told anyone, but there's a new location in South Haven that's super convenient for the people living there. And I haven't told them that location is where all the Central Barbecue catering for North Mississippi comes from.
If we could get back to the Central Barbecue spokesperson thing, see, you have to do this because you work here.
Now I have no clue how I'm going to face the people of South Haven. I have besmirched the name Central Barbecue spokesperson.
Besmirched.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Minimum purchase required. Interest accrues from date of purchase but is waived if paid within promotional period. Go to windowappointmentnow.com for full offer details.
Attention homeowners. Do you know when to replace your windows? Feeling too hot or cold? Fog between the glass? Spending too much on expensive energy that literally goes out the window? It's time to replace. And right now you can get a free in-home window consultation and free price quote from Renewal by Andersen. Plus with our March 31-day sales event, you can save $377 off every window and $777 off every door when you buy 4 or more units. Just text FRONT to 200-300 for your free consultation on top quality affordable windows or patio doors for no dollars down, no monthly payments, and no interest for a year. That's right, you don't pay a dime for an entire year. Text FRONT to 200-300 to save $377 off every window and $777 off every door when you buy 4 or more units. Hurry, this incredible 31-day sales offer is only in March. Text FRONT to 200-300. Text the word FRONT to 200-300. FRONT to 200-300.
A new era in public safety begins with you. Be the change you want to see. Join us for the Memphis Police Department Hiring Expo on Saturday, March 30th, 2024, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 170 North Main Street downtown. We will take applications, perform basic testing, and interview candidates on site. Salary starts at $54,611, increasing to $72,000 after 3 years. Free parking will be located at Poplar Avenue and Front Street. For more information or details, visit joinmpd.com.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Belting. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. MPD on the scene of a couple of accidents. It remains a little bit heavy over here on 240 East, coming past Poplar as you work your way going outbound on 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Trying to clean up from an earlier wreck on 64 over around Morningside Road. That's had traffic tied up for a while over there on that side of town. Weimer's Jewelry, located 7525 Highway 64, is your full-service family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back in Sports Time. A little less than 30 minutes left in today's show, and we got a little bit of an update from the Grizzlies close to the top of the hour. The new injury report, status report, whatever you want to call it, from Grizzlies PR lists Brandon Clark as questionable. So it looks like there is a real possibility, a pretty good chance, I would say, that Brandon Clark makes his season debut tomorrow night at home against the Los Angeles Lakers.
Boy, I would have to look to see. First time for him to appear in a game at FedEx Forum since early March last year.
I can tell you.
He got hurt in Denver, right?
Yes, I believe so.
I don't remember the date.
I don't either, but I can certainly
He's
find
been out
it.
a long time, and that used to be the career ender.
Mm-hmm.
It still is a long, painful rehab to get back, and I think they were extra careful with him, seeing how this year was going, but they may have been anyway.
Yep. Last home game, funny enough, was against the Lakers on February 28th, 2023. So more than a year, almost a year and a month.
Almost 13 months.
Yeah, so that is that's incredible. And so
count up the days, and that can be your big number tomorrow.
It really could be.
That's a big number too.
It sure would be a big number, but getting him back out there, and with only 10 games left in the season, throw him out there for a handful of games, try to let him get, back into that kind of full game experience and that full game run. I think a good idea, and just see where he's at. But certainly if he goes out there and is not ready tomorrow, definitely don't go, and just wait maybe another game and then debut.
I had a person ask me today, next year, what can you expect out of the Grizzlies? I said, well, tell me the health of the team.
Yeah.
If the team is healthy, I don't know why it wouldn't be around 50 wins or so, but there's a lot of really good young teams. Mm-hmm. And we've got to remember this come next year when we're talking, what would 50 wins, if the Grizzlies won 50 games next year, what kind of seed would that get you? Well, looking at it right now, Denver's at 51. Mm-hmm. Oklahoma City and Minnesota at 49. They're both going to get to 50. I don't know that New Orleans can get to 50, and they're the 4 seed, but they'll get to 48 or 49.
Sure.
What do they have left? I'm trying to do it in my head. 11 games left. Got to go 6-5 to get to 50. They could.
They could. Yeah,
they could.
Tough, but yeah, they could.
So that's your top 4.
Yeah, and I mean that's just how tough
to
the
host
Western
first
Conference
round.
is.
You got to win 50.
Yeah. I mean,
and this isn't going away next year.
No, not at all.
Kevin Durant's team is in 8th.
Yeah.
LeBron James's team's in 9th.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry's team in 10th.
I mean, that's where we're at. And then the Rockets sitting there, kind of getting more experience, getting better with time and age. I mean, they could be there next year, certainly.
San Antonio won't take. I don't think they have that 20-game improvement next year.
No.
But they have 12 to 15 next year.
Definitely.
those have to come from somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, so
that's not just playing the East every night.
No, it's certainly going to be difficult no matter which way you slice it. And you're right, none of these teams are going away, and they're all going to be here and probably be better. I mean, you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, what they're doing right now. I thought they would make a jump from last year to this year. I did not expect it to be right outside of the tournament last year to number 2 in the Western Conference, but here they are, and they're certainly not going anywhere. So, I mean, it's the West is tough all the time, and so if the Grizzlies can go back, I mean, 50 games to get home court is tough, especially in this conference.
45 or 46 to avoid the play-in.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, but that's how it is, and that's how it's certainly going to be next year.
It will be. And this time next year, I think we'll have a lot better attitudes and spirit around the Grizzlies. Just have to understand that this is just one of those nightmarish years. Mm-hmm. I signed off last night saying I was going to keep a close eye on the college basketball coaching carousel.
Yes.
It did nothing today. I missed badly.
No, yeah. It's been a quiet day. Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting to kind of see, the jobs that are open, the jobs that have been open. I think, like, you look over at, I think a lot of people have forgotten that Oklahoma State is open right now they've seemingly done nothing, not even any word on who they're targeting for their job. I think all eyes certainly on Louisville with what they do, but a lot of jobs out there and not a ton of movement, and I don't really know why there hasn't been more movement.
And we keep waiting for kind of that official, new deal for Eric Musselman at Arkansas, and I would have thought that would have been by now.
Yeah, you would think so, and it seems like we've talked about Eric Musselman a ton. I mean, you see the obviously rumors with a lot of jobs, and obviously earlier in the season it sounded like he was going to be a guy at the end of the season that said, I'm ready, I'll go to pretty much anywhere. And now that the off season is here, he seems to have turned down a lot of jobs, but his name keeps coming up out there, and then it seemed like all of that was over, and then you get the reports out there that SMU is swinging for the fences, and Eric Musselman is one of their top guys that they're going to try to go swing for. So yeah, I thought there would have been something by now for him in Arkansas, but I guess still out there waiting.
And SMU to land someone like that, and just the idea of Arkansas losing a basketball coach to SMU,
crazy,
is foreign as anything ever to me. Just never even thought it was in play. But when you can buy your way out of the AAC and into the ACC, getting a coach and getting NIL, that's no big deal.
Yeah, no, that's easy. And SMU, they've got the money, and they looks like going to
and
the
the
ACC.
Commitment.
They certainly have the commitment, and it looks like they're ready to go full, all out on both football and basketball. So, it's certainly a team to keep an eye on as they go to the ACC. I think we saw. In football, we certainly saw those 3 teams from the American that went to the Big 12 struggle in football.
They did.
Not as much in basketball.
Wasn't great, but not
it wasn't
near
great,
the football struggle.
But no, it certainly wasn't football. I think SMU is one to keep an eye on because it seems like they are certainly going to get all their guns out to push the money and push that they have successful teams in both football and basketball.
Well, no shocker that they're going to be good at the NIL thing because they really were the first with the Pony Express with Eric Dickerson and Craig James back in the day.
They have
it's just illegal then.
Yes, they've got the boosters that have that experience from back in the day. So why not? Now it's legal. We can really show you what we were made of.
Yaxel Lindenborg at UAB will stay at UAB. A lot of speculation, including maybe Memphis getting him in transfer. My source, Yaxel Lindenborg, his Twitter site.
Yeah. He came out last night saying tomorrow, kind of hinting at there was going to be some sort of announcement from him one way or the other. I know Andy Kennedy, I believe it was either earlier, I think it was yesterday, talking to the media, said kind of, I've got a guy that, is not in the transfer portal, has not even indicated to me that he's thinking about the transfer portal. And I met with him yesterday, and we could go through the DMs of coaches and players and staff from other schools, in his DMs trying to get him to leave UAB and go
let's do.
different places.
Show him, Andy.
Let's show him. And but he goes out today.
Do we have a code of conduct that we're not supposed to show them?
Well, that's my favorite thing, Brett, of the kind of transfer portal now is it's starting to become a regular thing for coaches to go out there and say, I've got this star player and I could show you the DMs. I could show you the messages that he's getting. And you're right, we never get to see the DMs or the messages.
No, because they're sending the same ones to other players.
Exactly. Can't do that because then that coach is going to turn around and say, my star player has the same message.
Who dis?
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, you're right. Yaxel Lindenborg made it official, earlier in this hour that he's going to stick around at UAB. And, with what they did this year under Andy Kennedy, I'm sure a lot of excitement in Birmingham for what they could do next year, I guess.
Yeah, and like I said, I think I started with yesterday. I never thought the AAC would win either of those games, and they didn't. Both played okay in them. Mm-hmm. UAB a little more threatening to win, but for the SEC, again, atrocious. I said under 11.5, and that was maybe atrocious to set it that high. It
flying under.
I think Tennessee and Alabama could go on and meet in the finals and not get to 11.5.
I think we'd still be under, yeah.
Yeah, still be under. So it was poor on that prediction too.
Yeah, but hey. That's March Madness for you, and
these bracket streets are mean, Johnny.
I thought we'd be close.
Except for Johnny.
Hey, them bracket streets are mean, man.
Not for you, Johnny. Johnny just
sitting in the driver's seat.
Beginner's luck, man. That's
Johnny,
beginner's
in fact, usually I keep a bracket clean all the way through to advanced teams for reference points, to get to it quickly. I'm just using yours.
Yeah,
you're my grid.
It's a good reference point.
Man, that's amazing. Thank you.
Some good picking. I know this weekend we're going to have a lot of family and friends in town, a lot of events at church and various places. Let Jason's Deli take care of you for any catering need, $5,000 to $5,000. If you want to order stuff maybe before the traditional Easter spread on Sunday, let them take care of it for you at Jason's Deli. Catering anytime, anywhere. And it's healthy. First franchise in the nation to be trans fat free. And it's all about choice at Jason's Deli. Regardless if you seek a gluten-free menu, vegetarian sandwiches, healthy kids meals, or if you'd like to invent your sandwich via the Build Your Own, you would be delighted. Wholesome food forever. It's a family thing, whether you're dining in, to go, or delivery. If you feel a little pressed this week that you haven't got it all organized just right, let them step in. Same day and last-minute orders are welcomed. That's when they really excel. You step aside, and they take care of your event. In the restaurant on Ridgeway Road, Poplar and Highland, Olive Branch, and Cordova, you can get the Mesa chicken salad, the nutty mixed-up salad, my favorite, the taco salad. All that food, really good and really good for you. And then in every restaurant, the salad bar, over 30 items to choose from for you to prepare it however you'd like. Again, those locations, one close to you, Cordova, one at Olive Branch, one over across from MUS on Ridgeway, and one by the University of Memphis at Poplar and Highland. Again, catering anytime, anywhere, and in those locations, complimentary free ice cream. Check them out online as well at jasonsdeli.com.
We need to get to a break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Benstorff Realtors. I just conducted another seminar for some folks who had inquired about preparing their homes for the market, as they would be scaling down into a smaller home or moving to an active lifestyle community. There are 12 things to take notice of in preparation, which can start now or in a year or two, whenever you are ready. One of the things to consider is what I call editing, and what you may call decluttering. That's funny, when you pick something up to decide whether to keep it or not, as soon as you touch it, all those good memories come back of where you were, when it happened, and who you were with. It can often be a tough decision, and keeping focused is the key to being successful and less stressful. If you want to discuss a plan for a move, whether now or in the future, and need guidance, please feel free to call or email me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Find out why people often say that when you want the job done, call Shell Done at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
What's the difference between an ordinary EV and a Mercedes-Benz EV? The feeling. Electric is what gets you there. Mercedes-Benz is what moves you. In ways no other automaker can. Feel the freedom of the superbly versatile 7-seater EQB. Revel in the inspired, customizable comfort of the EQE sedan. Sense the brilliant intelligence of the EQE SUV. Discover the boundless capability of the EQS SUV. And luxuriate in the flagship meets spaceship magnificence of the EQS sedan. Every Mercedes-Benz electric vehicle offers the very latest MBUX voice-activated AI software, as well as remote access to a whole host of functions via the Mercedes Me Connect app. The vehicle's electric, the feeling all Mercedes, the choice all yours. Test drive a Mercedes-Benz electric today at your local dealer or learn more at mbusa.com/EQ.
All 650 acquisition fee, 30,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Forte RE72, 39.85, MSRP 22,320. Sportage R7, 24,7640, MSRP 29,635. Telluride RG 49,9963, MSRP 41,005. Includes all rebates and incentives. Best finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/1/2024. Dealer stock only.
Hey, it's my man Jeff Allen bringing sweet deals from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey, Randy, I've got a 2024 Kia Forte LXS that gets 41 MPG highway, and you can hit the road for just $219 a month.
That's awesome. What else you got?
2024 Kia Sportage LX, $289 a month. Both 36-month lease and $34.99 due at signing. Or go big in a 2024 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive, $429 a month. 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing.
Plus, get peace of mind with the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
We're online 24/7, KiaMountMoriah.com.
At LL Floyd, we've been a trusted partner to pros for over 30 years. With over 400 nationwide warehouses full of in-stock, job-ready inventory, you'll get what you need. And our exclusive pro pricing means that pros never pay retail. Because at LL Floyd, all we do is floors. So we're going to do it right. Sign up for a free pro account today to start getting pro benefits. LL Flooring. Every step covered.
Chris Price, it's so good to see you. And you have a new business?
Yes, Dave. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Have you noticed water stains on your ceiling? With storm season here, take a walk around your home or business and look up. Make sure there are no water stains signaling a leak prior to the heavy storms coming in. If you do see signs of water, call me. My team and I will come out, diagnose the problem, and prescribe a fix. Our team of Hague-certified inspectors are waiting to assist with any inspection or repairs you may need. We have 3 crews dedicated to repairing roofs in the Mid-South. As certified Owens Corning and Mule High dealers, we offer 20-year, no-dollar limit labor and material warranties that offer hassle-free ownership. That's our hassle-free ownership guarantee. Allow Metro Builders team of professionals to assist you in maintaining your property's integrity and value. MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Your local commercial roof experts. Ask about our commercial roof maintenance agreements. Protect your investment with MetroBuildersMemphis.com. Call me, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. 375-1717.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is Geraldo. It is crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye, Joe Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today, we talked about it a lot, the NFL making some pretty big changes to the game, the big one happening with kickoffs. We've known something had to change when it came to kickoffs. Not much happening, a lot of touchbacks, just kind of a I don't want to say worthless play, but the kickoffs were very much meaningless. We don't have the returns that we used to see.
It was like an opening pitch.
It was
ceremonial opening pitch.
It really was. And so the move I think will be interesting. I'm curious to see how this works. I'm curious how teams go about filling out their roster for this new kickoff. Will they, go for more, weapons to be returners for this opportunity? Will they go for more, add a couple more linebackers that are more agile and quick for
the UFL showed the way on this.
It really did. And so I'm curious to see how these changes will be handled by these teams going into this season. Then also the fact that we're going to get Wednesday NFL football on Christmas will be very interesting with the doubleheader.
What I learned today, I may be the only one, but I threw the 51st anniversary party today for the Tigers on this date in 1973, playing John Wooden and the UCLA Bruins with Bill Walton in the national championship game. I won't say it feels like yesterday. 51 years does not do that, but I remember it well. At the arena, the Checker Dome in St. Louis on NBC with Kurt Gowdy and Tom Hawkins as the announced team, Jim Simpson on the sideline. I was 10 years old, fourth grade, convinced the Tigers would pull the upset, tied at halftime. Tigers briefly up 2 to start the second half. And then the big redhead, Bill Walton, it was all him. That day wore a Memphis State basketball T-shirt to school, Bryant, with the cuffs on the sleeves, blue, and the collar blue.
Oh, man. I love
with
that.
a white T-shirt.
Oh, that's great. That's beautiful, Brett. I love that. Well, what I could have done without, I saw this story earlier as a headline on Sports Center. We got this TV in here. I think the story broke a couple hours ago since we've been on air. But the Utah women's basketball team, it sounds like very unfortunate situation for their first round in the NCAA tournament. They stayed in a hotel in Idaho. That was about 30 miles away from
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Washington, yeah. And their head coach today said that they experienced a series of racial hate crimes last week, said that there were people waiting outside of their hotel and standing outside when they were going to, the arenas or to dinner at hotels, yelling the N-word at her team, cheerleaders, people on the traveling staff. I mean, just awful to see that is happening to a college basketball team, a team that has worked so hard to get to the NCAA tournament, something that's supposed to be so fun and filled with joy, a moment that teams dream of at the start of the season, that, getting ready for their first round games, that they had to experience something so hateful. I just hate it for that team, I hate that is still going on in this country.
I could have done without that in this news with the NFL, with their ever-changing rules. I think it's the biggest thing, trying to avoid the big class action lawsuit over injuries. They didn't eliminate the Philly push this year. That's coming next year, and I don't really know why. I think that's the essence of line of scrimmage football. Yeah. And we'll see with the new kickoff rule if it helps.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Oklahoma City in New Orleans, to New Orleans for OKC versus the Pelicans, two young teams that both want to be around in late May, really talented rosters. Both of these teams built to be good for a long time, like a lot of other teams in the West, and we hope the Grizzlies rejoin the battle this time next year.
Oh, absolutely. Beam me later tonight up to Indiana State as they host another NIT matchup. It was jumping over the weekend for their NIT game.
Dateline Terry Hoot.
Yeah, that's right. Cincinnati in town tonight for that game. Should be an interesting one, but certainly Indiana State, their fan base, frustrated that they did not make the NCAA tournament, but making the most out of this NIT appearance. They had a big win over the weekend, looking for another big win tonight against Cincinnati.
Only 4 NBA games tonight to keep eye on, but we will all impact playoff standings and seedings. Mention Oklahoma City at New Orleans, Golden State at Miami, Lakers at Milwaukee, no LeBron. That's fine. We want him here tomorrow night for all the fans. And Dallas late at Sacramento.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a fun night of basketball, and Grizzlies fans going to be keeping an eye on what happens with the Lakers tonight on TNT before they come here to Memphis tomorrow night. Well, that's all the time we have today. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Join us celebrating 26 years of Napa Cafe. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer, like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad. Or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. I'd sure love to see you.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids gummies help relieve occasional stomach upsets, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids gummies. Fast support for little tummies.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town. Open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town. Grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn